quick note, I was not able to upload for the past week because I was very sick, but don't worry, now I am back. Hi guys, this is an AI, and now on with the story. Chapter 10, Naruto's POV. You'll come visit Sniff, right? Inari said as we were about to leave Nami to go home. Yeah, I will sometimes, but not often. I am out to become Hokage someday, Datbeo, I yell, giving a cheese smile to the boy. Anyway, Zabuza-sama, Haku-san, have you thought about what I asked you yesterday? Flashback, join Konoha, Zabuza-sama said, chuckling at the outrageous thought. Yeah, why not? I bet you're sick and tired of running between different towns trying to find work, and if you come to Konoha, then at least you won't be under an oppressive cage like the Mizukage, I said, trying to convince him to join. I know he hates Kiri for the bloodline purges and protects Haku-san like a son. I don't know, kid, that could lead to trouble between Konoha and Kiri. If I were to accept, it is not guaranteed I will be allowed into the village. However, Zabuza-sama tuned to Haku-san. You, however, have a chance to get in, as Yagura does not know of your existence. Zabuza-sama spoke, trying to hold back the sadness in his voice. Zabuza-sama, I can't do that. I will not leave your side. You gave me a purpose to live on and protect those close to me. I know, and that is what I am doing for you now. Zabuza-sama was gonna continue, however, Haku-san interjected. How about this? We think it over for tonight and make our decision tomorrow. Flashback end. Well, kid, we talked it over a little more, and I think we will both be joining you back, but if they don't accept me, then they can't try to sell me off to Kiri. Deal? Zabuza-sama said. Deal, Kakashi-sensei said as he also enjoyed fighting with Zabuza-sama. Yosh, I think it is about time to head out. What do you think, Hinata-chan? Sasuke Teme, I ask my teammates. I catch myself staring a bit at Hinata-chan more since the bridge. I wonder if she likes me. I'll ask later, I think, as I notice a blush rising on her face as well as my own. Naruto-kun, can you please stop staring at me? Sorry, Hinata-chan, I say, turning away a bit. I hear a slight chuckle, only to see Kakashi-sensei and Haku-san laughing at me. Oi, what are you laughing at, Datbeo? I said, activating my eyes to try and intimidate Haku-san. What the hell is that? I have never seen anything like that before, Zabuza-sama says, noticing the eyes. Indeed, I've never heard of any dojutsu besides the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan and the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. Haku-san interjects his own curiosity. Well, you see, Naruto has a Kekkei Genkai that has not been seen in hundreds of years, and no one knew what it did until a few days ago, Kakashi-sensei said, excluding any details about what it does, as not even Gigi knows about it. Well, ain't that something? Zabuza-sama said. Time skip. We made it back to the main gates of Konoha when Kotetsu and Izumo spotted Zabuza-sama freezing almost immediately. Zabuza Momochi, why is he here? Kotetsu said, surprised that the Kirigakure no Kijin was in front of them. Also, who's the kid? Izumo said, pointing to Haku-san. As you can see, this is Zabuza Momochi, aka Kirigakure no Kijin. The boy is Haku of the Yuki clan. They are here to talk with Hokage-sama. Don't worry, I will be there if they try anything, Kakashi-sensei says, answering all the two's questions. Well, you are going to have to restrain Zabuza, as he is a Nukanin of Kiri, as well as disarm him of his weapons. Izumo spoke. That's already taken care of, Kakashi-sensei informed the Eternal Gate Guards. Anyway, Hinata Sasuke, you are dismissed. Naruto, you will be joining me as well as Haku and Zabuza to Hokage-sama's office. Hi sensei, we yell. Sasuke Teme makes a quick exit as I glance over to Hinata-chan and blush a bit. Am I falling for her? I thought as I made my way with Kakashi-sensei, Zabuza-sama and Haku-san. So the Hyuga has your heart, wa. No, not tea at all. Kakashi, she sends, say. I say, damn. Why did I stutter so much? I could hear that damn fox laughing in the back of my mind as I closed him out. Kakashi-sensei and Haku-san laugh while Zabuza-sama let out a light chuckle after a little walking, accompanied by glares and hushed insults at me, but eventually we reach Gigi's office. Knocking, we hear the muffled voice of the Gigi, come in. Kakashi-sensei enters first, then following him is Zabuza-sama, Haku-san and myself in that order. Kakashi, may I ask why two unfamiliar people are in my office, as well as one of them being the famed Kirigakure no Kijin Zabuza Momochi? He asks. The Anbu in the room ready to pounce if needed. Well, they are here to join the Konoha as shinobi. Sensei says to Gigi. My, why would they want to join the Leaf? Gigi asked. Well, that was all me. I say, interrupting Sensei. Oh, do explain. Well, there are two reasons. One, I asked them to because they were tired of running from Kiri, and the other is to have a teacher. I say, confusing pretty much everyone but Kakashi-sensei, teacher, but Kakashi here has participated in a lot of kenjutsu training from the wife of the Yondaime. Why not ask him? Gigi responded. Who said anything about kenjutsu? I say, I need a teacher for something else that is related to you know what, I say. Getting a nod from the Hokage, Anbu out, Gigi orders as 3 of the 4 chakra signatures disappear. Now then, what is it about? Gigi, who's in the rafters? I say, getting surprised looks from Gigi. He looks up, seeing another Anbu agent, but not his, one of Danzo's root. Zabuza-sama engaged the Anbu before anyone could move, now down on their knees with a kunai their throat, ready for questioning from the Hokage. Sorry Hokage-sama, but I don't like rats listening in on my private conversations. Zabuza-sama said. Gigi seemed happy as he did not outright kill the man before he could be questioned. The root Anbu is taken away to T&I by one of the Anbu that had just left. Now then, what do you mean by teacher Naruto? Gigi asks once again. Well, while on the mission we figured out something. My eyes do. I am able to obtain an affinity towards any natural transformation I see. While using my eyes, I activate them to show how they have changed a lot since Gigi saw them. I see. But why do you need a teacher for the 5 nature transformations? We have plenty of skilled shinobi that could help you. You see, when I was on the bridge when we fought each other, my eyes were activated while Sasuke Teme was trapped in Haku-san's jutsu. I decided to try to see if I could obtain Hyaten ice release from it, and as you can see, my right eye has an icy glaze to it that is what I believe is the tell that I have Hyaten. Everyone was surprised that I think I can perform a Hyaten jutsu. Prove it, a wide-eyed Haku-san says. Well, that's why I need a teacher. I don't know any jutsu, I replied. Here, try to make a Satan-infused water droplet, then add futon to it. I nod and follow Haku-san's instructions, only failing to add the futon chakra to it. Maybe I should do the opposite of what I do with Kaiten. Instead of infusing my body heat to warm it up as I do with Kaiten, I take away all the heat from the futon. Slowly the water droplet's temperature starts to decrease in the room. Haku-san and Zabuza-sama stood there stunned as I was doing it. Gigi and Sensei were proud of how swiftly I solved the problem of dropping the temperature. Finally the droplet sat in my hand. Frozen, I looked up, smiling but sweating bullets because that was way harder than I anticipated. Yosh! I did it, I yelled, ecstatic that I was right. Well, Zabuza and Haku, only to receive a nod from the boy. Well, you will be allowed to reside in Konoha, however you are not allowed to become shinobi till the mess in Kiri calms down, he said. Well, I can assure you that Mizukage has no clue that Haku even exists, so I feel he should be able to train as a shinobi. Zabuza-sama interjects. I see. Where you are coming from Zabuza-sama. However, this boy is a part of the Yuki clan. If Mizukage finds out we are harboring refugees, then he could hurt relations between us even if he is a corrupt fool. Gigi responds, getting a nod from both Haku-san and Zabuza-sama. Well then I will set up a housing situation for you two, as well as find you work to do prior to you two becoming Konoha shinobi. Kakashi Naruto, you are dismissed. Hi Hokage-sama, sensei. And I say as the Anbu re-enter the room. Time skip. It has been a few days since we returned from Nami. I decided to take a short walk around, as today is my day off to relax. I ran into Sakura-chan, who started to walk next to me, asking about Sasuke Teme. How was he? I bet he was more powerful than you were, Baka, she said out of nowhere. Look, if you're just gonna insult me and praise Sasuke Teme, leave me alone, I say, picking up the pace a bit. Hey, not cool. I am not done talking to you, she says, running to my side. I was about to respond when I noticed a square rock over my shoulder. Konohamaru rocks aren't square, you know. The box then pops in a puff of smoke. Cough cough asterisk. Uden, you used too much gunpowder, the girl Moegi said to the boy in glasses with allergies. We are Team Konohamaru, Konohamaru said, posing with his team. Hey boss, you gonna play ninja with us today? Konohamaru asked, with all three crowding me. What kind of shinobi plays ninja? Sakura-chan asked me. Those who try and get to know the people they may need to rely on in the future, I say, getting a huff from the pinkette. Well said, boss. And is that your girlfriend? He said, trying to tease me. Not in a million years, I say with a smile. Baka, what does that mean? She screamed. I was about to reply, however Konohamaru beat me to it. Good, I think that she is annoying and ugly. My eyes widened at what the Sandame's grandson had said. I turned to see Sakura about to kill the poor boy. Run, I yelled to the three as they turned down an alley only to crash into someone. I quickly make my way over just to see what happened. Hey punk, that hurt. A guy with *PFFT* makeup and a catsuit, and a girl who is wearing similar garbs. I start to laugh uncontrollably, catching the guy and girl to look at me confused. Why is this dude with makeup and a catsuit trying to act tough? I say between my laughing fits that seemed to piss him off as he dropped Konohamaru and made his way towards me. However, my Doton Bunshin grabbed him by the ankles. What the was all he managed to get out. Doton Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, my clone says, coming out of the ground. Now I know you're here for the Chunin exams, so why did you bring in unstable Jinchuriki? I ask, feeling the Ichibi's bloodlust in the tree above us. What? How did you? The boy in the ground says as I cut him off. I give him a closed eye smile. Kurama, wanna scare the piss out of them? I'd love to, was his response. Well, that's simple. I slowly opened my eyes, glaring at the boy as he saw red eyes with a black slit in them. It takes a monster to know a monster. Chapter 11 Naruto's Pav, Kankuro Tamari. We are leaving. The kid in the tree using a Suna Shunshin appearing in front of me. Hi G. Gar mind G giving me a hand. D, the now named Kankuro says, head still poking out of the ground. You got yourself into that mess, get out on your own. Gaara said to him as he turned towards me. What is your name? The Ichibi Jinchuriki asked. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, but you can call me Mr. 9, I say, getting surprised looks from Tamari, Kankuro and Sakura-chan, whereas Sasuke Teme just watched from the tree. Fine Mr. 9, I am Gaara no Subaku, but you can call me Mr. 1. The Suna Genin team was amazed by all that had happened to Gaara. And he was this friendly with a person they had just met with that we went our separate ways. I proceeded to Training Ground 7 to get some training in as well as meet with my team. The Suna team probably went to meet with their sensei as well. Time skip. Alright, here are your forms. Do not lose them. It is your choice to take the exams or not. You are to meet in room 301 at the academy by 3 p.m. in 5 days. That is all for today. Dismissed. Kakashi informed us of the events to come. And I was pumped. Just as Kakashi-sensei left, Haku-san appeared at the tree line to start my Hayaten training. Well, Hinata-chan, Sasuke Teme, I gotta go train to prepare for the exams, I waved, running into the forest after Haku-san. I finally found him in an opening. Hey Haku-san, are you all settled in? Hi Zabuza-sama, and I finished settling in fairly quickly cause of the little possessions we have, he answered. Ah, that makes sense. Anyway, what do you have planned out for me today? I was shaking with anticipation because this training was for me to use in the finals when I reveal the fact I have an affinity for all 5 chakra natures plus the Yuki clan's ice release. Alright, the first thing you need to do is take this leaf, just like Sweeten, draw the water in the leaf to the surface. Then you need to channel wind chakra into the water. This will cause the temperature to drop in the water, and if you can do it, I was listening as well as trying it. However, before he could finish, in my hand was a frozen leaf. Hey, I did it. Haku looked down at me, trying to piece together how I managed to turn the leaf to ice so fast. How it took me 3 months to do this, he asked. I just did as you said. It didn't seem all that hard. He gave me a stern look, maybe jealousy or annoyance. You can't hate a guy for getting the hang of something faster than you, ya know, Haku-san. I let out a quiet chuckle, wanting to rub it in a little bit. I want you to do it again. I can't believe you can just do that first try. Haku-san seemed confident that I wouldn't be able to do it. A second time I picked up another leaf and started channeling wind chakra, and after a few moments the leaf was frozen. Let's just move on, Haku-san said through gritted teeth. Now you will try my Jutsu Hajutsu Makio Hyosho secret technique, demonic mirror ice crystals, Haku-san said as if trying to change the subject. He puts his hand up in a half ram seal as a singular mirror made of ice emerges from the ground between us. He proceeds to walk into the mirror as if he was a two-dimensional being. With this I can make it seem that I am in 2 places at once, although that is not the case with these mirrors and speed. I am able to travel between separate mirrors at close to the speed of light. I, however, am still trackable, as your friend from the Uchiha clan found it easy with even his undeveloped Sharingan, he said, explaining some pros and cons to the jutsu. Okay, so how do I perform this jutsu? I ask, only to receive a laugh from the man in the mirror. This is not something you can learn so quickly, Naruto-san. First we will train you with senbon. This is because we can create senbon made of ice with ease. Therefore I will teach you how to create the senbon and how to use them. Are you ready? I contemplate this because I know how hard senbon is to use as an offensive weapon. However, if I can master this, I'll have another tool at my disposal. Hi Haku-san. Time skip. In front of me is the academy that I have grown up to love. My team is behind me, ready to ace this test. Hinata-chan, Sasuke Teme, I say, the biggest smile I could muster blazing in all its glory. Let's kick some ass, Datbeo, I scream as I make my way to the entrance. Sasuke Teme and Hinata-chan close behind me. We make our way upstairs only to notice a grouping of genin hanging around the second floor. Hey Hinata-chan, can you use your Byakugan to see what is going on up there? I ask, receiving a subtle nod. It seems that 2 genin are in the front, blocking the rest from entering. This is the second floor, meaning that there is some sort of genjutsu in play. Come on, you have to let us in. A girl with her hair in 2 buns with her bangs framing her face, a pink sleeveless blouse, dark green pants, and an assortment of pouches for different scrolls and tools. Yosh, this is very unyouthful of you to halt the progress of your peers. A guy with a jet black bowl-cut green spandex bodysuit, orange leg warmers and a pouch for ninja tools and scrolls, said kid in spandex decides to try and kick the two out of the way when the kid with a bandage over his nose catches it. Sorry, we are just weeding out the weak. These exams are hard, and if you can't get past us, then you'll never make it in there, he said, gesturing to the room behind him. Oi, drop the weak genjutsu, it is not fooling anyone, the loud-mouthed Teme yells at the two. Moron, do you see everyone that has been tricked? I sweat drop. Oh, and why do you think that? The other boy blocking the way yelled out. Why do these two look familiar? What a censor you are, my tenant says. Oi, you big fur ball, don't make me come in there and turn you into a scarf, I mentally yell, cause Kurama to laugh. Me joining in shortly after. Anyway Kit, it is those two morons that stand at the front gate all day every day. I think for a second, then it hits me, man am I dense, I say very quietly. Sadly someone heard me. What do you mean? And Naruto-kun, the Hinata-chan asks as I mentally curse myself. It's just that these two are Kotetsu and Izumo, and I just figured it out. I scratch the back of my head nervously cause I didn't want to release the information yet. Well, Naruto-kun, it is about time one of you Leaf Genin figured us out, Kotetsu said while transforming back to his older self. Well, I am surprised it was you, and neither Neji-kun nor Sasuke-kun figured it out, Izumo said, pointing the two out. So you are Sasuke Uchiha. I challenge you to a fight, me right here right now, the dude in the spandex yelled. 1, we need to get to the real testing room, and 2, it is rude to not introduce yourself, I say, hoping we can just get out of here. All eyes are on us at the moment. How improper of me. My name is Rock Lee, the next blue beast of Konohagakure no Sato, he says while flashing a thumbs up and smile. You know of the Uchiha and still want to challenge me? HN your funeral, Sasuke says, getting into the Uchiha intercepting fist stance. No, we have to go save your energy for the exam, I say, as well as the girl with her hair in 2 buns. I agree with Naruto-kun and Tenten-san, Hinata-chan exclaimed, and with that we went our separate ways. We find Kakashi-sensei waiting for us at the entrance of room 301 reading that damned book of his. Yo, glad you made it past Kotetsu and Izumo as well as all 3 of you being here, he said, closing his book and approaching us. Well, if it wasn't for Teme here ruining it. He called the two's genjutsu out, alerting the people who fell for it they had been tricked. Kakashi glanced over to Sasuke as if he were saying, is this true? Kakashi let out a light sigh. Well, that is not the worst of your problems. Those are about to start. Had one out of the 3 of you not shown up, the other 2 would not make it past this point. But you said that it was our individual decision, Sasuke asked rather irritatedly. Sensei smiled at him and said 2 words before leaving. I lied. To say Sasuke Teme was pissed was an understatement. Hinata-chan let off a giggle before adding, well, we better head in now. And Sasuke-san, just use your anger on them, not us. With that we take our next steps to become the strongest ninja in Konoha by barging in as loud as possible. Chapter 12 Naruto's POV. They all were staring at us. Every shinobi in the room was glaring at us, leaking what little killer intent they could. Hinata-chan and Sasuke Teme took a step back. I just smiled looking over the group. Well, that was kinda disappointing, eh, Kurama? I thought. Indeed, how about we give them a taste of what real ki is, the Kyuubi says with a light chuckle. Just then I felt the warm sensation of Kurama's chakra slowly flow through my chakra coils. The Biju chakra has entangled itself with my own as I start leaking our ki, rolling off of me like dense smog, choking all who fall within its reach. I make sure to only project it forward so my team does not feel the full brunt of it, however little amounts Still reach them. Most turn away while others take a few steps back. What's wrong, cat? Got your tongue? I ask while Kurama projects his own voice through mine. I then relax on the key, turning to my team to speak only to be interrupted. Sasuke-kun. 2 Banshee fangirls scream, racing up to him before they could reach him, though I step between them and Sasuke. Listen, if you are here to be a fangirl rather than to progress your lives as shinobi like you have been training to become, then leave now. This is not the place for childish acts. I turn to Sasuke Teme, who's wide-eyed but quickly drops it, realizing he isn't keeping his act up. Thanks, Dobi. He mutters, barely audible to anyone but Hinata-chan and I smile at his act slightly breaking, then to Hinata-chan, who just blushed. Well, then let's do our best, shall we? Hinata-chan nodded, smiling, and Sasuke Teme just let out a "hn." I turn around and come face to face with a guy with whitish hair and glasses with a Konoha Hitate on. Weird, I've never seen him before. Well, I haven't seen a lot of other Konoha shinobi in a while, I think, as he looks at Yus along with the remainder of the rookie 9 who just arrived. Well, you all need to quiet down. All these people are trying to focus. You don't want them to target you, do you? The boy asked, referring to the 2 fangirls. Slowly Kurama and I increase our key in the room, directed towards this guy as to shake him off us, but he doesn't even budge. The people caught behind him are terrified, frozen in fear, but not this guy. What's his play? I wonder, looking at him as if nothing was off. Well, that was quite impressive for a genin, he said as if he wasn't surprised. Oh, I don't like this guy at all, I thought to Kurama. I agree, Kit. I am not a fan of his either. If I get the chance, I will tear him to shreds, Kurama yelled out. In my head, I zoned back into the conversation to see him pulling out some sort of cards. These cards allow me to channel chakra into them. My chakra then burns an image full of information gathered on certain people onto these cards. I call them recognition cards. The white-haired genin spoke. Is there anyone in particular you want to know about? I didn't have anyone in mind. That Sasuke Teme responded in an instant. Sabaku no Gaara of Suna and Rock Lee of Konoha. He mutters out, really, that's all you could think of? An unstable Jinchuriki and a genin who can't mold chakra but is extremely proficient in taijutsu. Those are your choices. I say, quite enough for only my team and Kabuto to hear. Well, that's no fun. You already know a bit about them. The genin pouted. Yao Li's team is Tenten, a weapons specialist, and the prodigy of the Hyuga clan, Neji Hyuga. Their Junin sensei is Might Guy. What else do you need to know about him? I understand Gaara because he is from another village, but he is the Jinchuriki of the Ichibi, as well as teamed up with his older siblings, the blonde chick and the dude with a catsuit on. Sasuke Teme looks at me like I am crazy. However, the white-haired dude, apparently named Kabuto Yukushi, thanks to Sakura-san's curiosity, confirmed everything I said. I have someone I want you to look up to on those fancy cards of yours, I say, hoping he takes the bait. And who might that be? Kabuto asked with a smirk. Kabuto Yukushi, let's see what you can do. I look at him while making the most sinister grin I could muster. His grin, however, dropped to a look of pure terror while he tried to find a way out of the conversation. Lucky bastard's prayers were answered though. Hey, you in the glasses. A guy with gauntlets on with holes in it, wearing a hitate with a music note on it. Out of confusion, Shino pointed to himself with a raised eyebrow. The sound shinobi shook his head and pointed at Kabuto. I heard you were saying how Otogakure is weak because of our shinobi village being new. Well, I have something to tell you. The guy with gauntlets threw a punch at Kabuto's head, but the Konoha genin dodged the physical attack, except he forgot that the shinobi of Oto use sound waves for their jutsu. Kabuto dropped to his knees, throwing up as Ibiki walked in. Quiet down, you 3 from Otogakure. Your village is new, don't want to create a terrible reputation for it now, would you? Ibiki said before explaining the rules and how the seating arrangement will be drawn by lots. To spread teams out this worked, except for the fact that I was right next to Hinata-chan. Alright. You all have an hour to finish the exam, and with 15 minutes left I will give you all the final questions. You may begin. Ibiki yelled. The room was silent as I wrote down the answers to the best of my ability. I am gonna be honest, I have no idea what the answers to half of these questions are. That is when I noticed people all around me trying to cheat, and men were most bad at it. Oh, that's what they meant about the cheating. We just can't get caught. I was about to test my own intel gathering skills when a kunai flew in front of Hinata-chan and I's face landing in front of a Kusagakure village hidden in the grass. Nin, the boy, jumps as the proctor calls him out on his cheating, eliminating them. Damn, this is stressful. Hey Kurama, do you know any of these? I can't say I know all of them, but I do know a few. Here, let me take control, before I can tell him how bad of an idea that is he takes over. I didn't know this at the time, but my whisker marks darkened and my eyes were blood red with black slits in them, just like they were in Nami no Kuni. I did, however, feel my canines grow as my mouth adjusted. From the back of my mind I watched Kurama fix some stuff I had written down, and I smack my head against a wall as I realized some of my mistakes. I felt myself look upright at Ibiki as a smile stretched across my face, showing off my enlarged pointed canines. Ibiki, the second in command of the T&I division of Konoha, had to take a few steps back, probably thinking that Kurama somehow got loose. All right, Kit, that is all that I know about. I think you are good enough to pass, but only barely, Kurama said, giving me back control. Later Hinata-chan would tell me that I turned back to normal right after I made some changes to my work, so I feel that this is when Kurama gave me back control. I look up at Ibiki with my now blue eyes, lightened whisker marks, and my regular canine teeth. I just sat there and stared at me as I smiled while scratching the back of my head. Ibiki let out a sigh and looked down at his watch. I proceeded to figure out what question 7 was, 'cause it is a bitch to solve. Alright, you all have 15 minutes left. It is time for me to explain the 10th and final question. First, you all have the option to take it. If you decide to take it and get it wrong, you will never be allowed to take the Chunin exams again. The room was in an uproar, saying how it wasn't fair and how others had taken the test before. Ibiki then silenced them and continued, you all just have rough luck because I am the proctor, so I make the rules. You can, however, forfeit taking the question, and you along with your team will be eliminated from this year's exams, but allowed to take it again next year. There were lots of murmurs this time, people thinking what to do as I sat there next to a Hinata-chan as she trembled in fear. Hey, it will all be fine, relax. You are strong and smart, you will make it past these exams and get a promotion, I whisper to her, giving her a warm smile. Teams started dropping at this point after there were about 26 teams. The speed of the teams dropping had slowed down drastically. Anyone else, this is your last chance, Ibiki exclaimed. I slowly raised my hand, much to Hinata-chan's surprise, before slamming it on my desk. Look, you keep talking about this 10th question and we have been sitting here for 10 minutes and you haven't even given us the question at this point. I doubt there ever was a 10th question. It seems that the real test was for our information gathering skills, while this part is where you test our limits to see if we will break under pressure, as if we are held captive by an enemy. I say most of the room just stared at me as I stared at Ibiki, expecting him to reprimand my actions. Naruto Uzumaki, you would be correct, that means you all. Ibiki didn't finish as a loud crash filled the room. A woman with a banner that read, "The Single and Sexy Anko Mitarashi," now stood in the front of the room. What is this, Ibiki? You passed 26 team, she said, judging the large man in the Front of the room who looked pissed. Anko, you are early, plus this is just a good batch, so hop off my back. Ibiki said, a hint of rage in his voice. Well, looks like you're just getting soft anyway. I'll be the proctor for the next exam. Meet me at training ground 44 in 15 or else you're disqualified, she yelled before she used a shunshin, not giving Ibiki time to rebuttal her comment. Hinata-chan and Sasuke Teme leave and make our way to the training ground. Yosh, Hinata-chan. Sasuke Teme, we did it, 1 part down, 2 to go. Chapter 13, Naruto's POV. Alright you gakis. Listen up, Anko-san said, catching our attention. You are all about to enter training ground 44. Otherwise known as Daeonwion and Shuho, the Forest of Death. Most took a step back, as most have heard about it. The forest was made by a grieving Hashirama Senju after the death of his best friend Madara Uchiha. With the use of Sennin Modo Sage Mode, he infused some of his chakra into the wildlife in the forest, causing them to mutate into dangerous creatures unheard of anywhere but the forest. Now you will all need to sign these consent forms so as to not pin the blame for your untimely deaths on Konoha. Anko-san continued as she and a handful of chunin started handing out forms and pencils for us to sign with. Man, this is way more stressful than I thought it would be, huh? Sasuke Teme. I ask, hoping he doesn't just mother fu. This guy is the definition of stubborn. Great talk there, Teme. I say, hoping to at least get a response once. I'm done trying with him, he frustrates me too much. Gee guys, can we focus on the exam? Hinata-chan said, trying to draw our attention back to the task at hand. Ah, sorry Hinata-chan, just got a little distracted with the Teme. How are you though? I ask my female teammate as we now make our way to the starting gate. We were assigned. Well, I am really nervous, and Naruto-kun. The whole time she was looking down at the ground with a saddened look on her face. Hey, it's alright, we will be fine. Anko-san was just trying to get to us, that's all. I say with a slight laugh to hopefully boost her confidence. SCT, thank you, and Naruto-kun, she said, a blush rapidly spread across her face. Well, let's do our best, because this is the next part of my adventure to become Hokage Datbeo, I shout at the top of my lungs, smiling as wide as I can. Anyway, who should hold the S-scroll? Hinata-chan asked. Well, I think you should hold it because you have a 360 vision with your Byakugan, plus I think people will try to not get close to you and your Juken strikes. Her eyes widened at the plan. I thought of, I don't know why they did, maybe it's because she was not prepared for the compliment. Time skip plus no one's POV. Anything yet, Hinata-chan? Naruto spoke, looking at Hinata, who just deactivated her Byakugan. No, I saw nothing yet. I think we should find a place to rest soon. It has been a few hours since the exam started. She was panting between words a bit. Obviously she was getting tired from running and using her Byakugan to survey the area. Sure, I am okay with that. How about you, Teme? Naruto asked their last teammate, receiving only a nod in agreement. Man, what's up with him today? Naruto thought before dropping it to find a place to lay low for a while. There, Naruto spoke of finding a small cave entrance under a large tree. No, Hinata screamed, surprising her teammates. Why, is there something in there? Naruto asked, noticing her once again deactivating her Byakugan. Why, yes, it seemed to be the home of a mutated bear. We should leave this area fast as my scream could have woke it up, Hinata said, trying to get back up to run only to collapse. Hinata-chan, Naruto yelled, racing to catch her before she hits the ground. He reached out with both arms, catching her bridle style. Hey, you need to be more careful, you must have used up too much chakra scanning the area with your eyes here, Naruto spoke as he set her on the ground. Climb on my Back, I'll carry you, Naruto, only for Hinata to go full blush mode and pass out. Hey Teme, can you help get Hinata on my back so we can find a place to rest? Naruto asked his broody teammate Sasuke. Just walked over and performed the task before moving out. Geez, he's being really moody today. Naruto thought, picking his unconscious teammate off the ground before moving out himself. Small time skip. Where am I? A soft, gentle voice rang out into the small clearing. Hinata-chan, you're awake, Naruto spoke, wrapping his arms around his teammate into a caring hug. Naruto K-kun, this has to be a dream, she said, hugging him back before Naruto could speak. However, she continued, if only this was real, so I can tell you how much I love you. And Naruto-kun, Hinata said. Naruto was, let's just say, his head was spinning faster than he could ever imagine it was spinning, so much that Kurama was getting dizzy. Kit, will you calm down? I will throw up at this rate, Kurama yelled. Inside Naruto's mind, falling on deaf ears. However, someone lick no loves me, Naruto thought once. His head stopped spinning and Kurama was done dry heaving. Hinata chan what did you just say? Naruto asked. Hinata rarely ever hears Naruto stutter, so this drew some red flags in her mind. Till she pinched herself. Oh no, this is real, she thought before her face went completely red. Before passing out, the two sat there for about 5 minutes, Naruto still wrapping his head around the fact that Hinata liked him and Hinata was still unconscious in Naruto's arms. Hinata. He couldn't finish as she slowly woke up again and Sasuke returned from scouting around the area. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, sitting up and blushing, remembering what had conspired before she passed out. Hinata-chan, Naruto said with a slight blush appearing on his face, will you two lovebirds quit? That grosses me out anyway. I found something. Naruto and Hinata look at each other before following Sasuke deep into the forest. After what seemed like a half hour, they approached a group of ninja laying on the ground with their scroll just laying on the ground in the open. I'm surprised no one took it, Naruto said, about to walk out and grab the scroll before Hinata grabbed his arm. Wait, Naruto K-kun, it could be a trap, Hinata said before activating her Byakugan. She saw 3 chakra signatures in the distance from them. It seems clear, but there is another team about 300 meters to our south. They seem familiar, so they could be from Konoha. Naruto nodded. However, Sasuke was not so sure. As he activated his Sharingan, Sasuke realized there was a genjutsu placed on the bodies and quickly warned Hinata and Naruto. They nod as they all dispel the genjutsu, only to find them to awaken in the process of them being tied up. The 3 stayed quiet as the 3 shinobi from a Megacure tied them up slowly, waiting for a chance to counter. From the looks of them, they seemed to be older, somewhere around 15 to 16. They wore large raincoats with navy blue jackets and pants underneath, as well as navy ambu boots. Well, I think that the Hyuga girl could definitely go a few rounds, the first Megakure Genin said with a devious grin. We don't have time to fool around, Kutaro. We just need the scroll and we need to make our way towards the tower, the second shinobi from a Megacure said, causing the first one to get pissed. What's the rush? This is still only the first day. We got plenty of time, he said, trying to justify himself. I agree with Kutaro Heisho. We do have a long time before we need to be at that tower, so why not have a little fun? The last Genin said. Hinata was mortified and tried to move and get out of this. Oh look, and she's awake. This'll be more fun, the now named Kutaro said, pulling on her short hair, causing her to let out a loud scream. Naruto is pissed. The Megacure Genin started to feel a presence that was all too Familiar, this pressure was the same as ki they felt while they sat in the back of the testing room. In the first phase, the last time Hinata and Sasuke felt this was when they were on the bridge in Nami no Kuni. To say that even they were scared was an understatement. Elsewhere, a few moments prior, Neji-kun, do you see anything? Tenten asked her teammate as they traversed the forest. No, it seems as though my vision with the Byakugan is fuzzy once you get past around 500 meters or so, Neji said, which surprised both Tenten and Lee. Alright, then I think I will adjust my sweeps to every 5 minutes instead of every 10, plus we should slow our pace a bit to reach max efficiency. Neji explained further. They moved for about 5 minutes before Neji spotted possible enemies. Lee-san, Tenten-chan, it seems there are 6 chakra signatures to our north. 3 seem similar to someone I don't know who. Let's watch and see what happens, Neji said, receiving nods from his team. As the team makes their way towards the 6 chakra signatures, a loud feminine scream rips throughout the forest. Neji knew that scream as he heard it the day his cousin was kidnapped. Hinata-sama, Neji screamed, picking up the pace, as well as Lee and Tenten. The 3 genin of Team Guy were about to breach the clearing, and as they did they were suffocated by Naruto's ki flooding out of his pores. Neji spotted Hinata being held by the genin from AIM, but he couldn't do anything. Naruto's ki was too strong for them to break free from the paralyzing aura. They sat there motionless, watching as Naruto spoke. You dare touch my teammate, Naruto, Kurama yelled, causing the 3 from AIM to step back in fear as Kutaro dropped Hinata. Team Guy all fell to their knees unnoticed by everyone else. Sasuke, Hinata, Team Guy and the 3 from AIM watched as the ninja wire meant to absorb the chakra of the person who's trapped in it, holding Naruto, snaps like a twig. What the hell? Heisho yelled. He then turned to run, only to see Naruto pretty much teleport right in front of him. That speed, thought most of the genin present. I sense no ill will in you, Naruto, Kurama spoke. Naruto turned to the other 2 who were still frozen in fear. You too, however, that is all I feel from you, Naruto raced up, grabbing both the AIM genin by the throat, lifting them off the ground. Their bodies flailed. Gasping for air, Heisho just stood and watched as the life of his 2 teammates dwindled before his very eyes. Now do you see the importance of knowing your enemy, Naruto? Kurama dropped the 2 genin who barely clung to life. He turned to Heisho slowly, his eyes still blood red with black slits. What is up with that kid? Thought everyone from Team Guy. Neji had no idea his cousin's teammate could paralyze him, the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. He also heard that this kid was the dead last of his genin year. You will now leave your scroll and never, I mean never, come near my team again. Naruto started, only for Kurama to take over. Knowing exactly what he was gonna say, Naruto closed his eyes and turned towards his team. He reopened his eyes, revealing his regular bright blue eyes. Oh, and take these 2 scumbags for teammates out of my sight. Heisho only nodded and dropped the earth scroll Naruto and his team needed before taking his team away. Thank Yun, Naruto-kun, Hinata said before being enveloped in a hug from her savior. The Konoha genin looked on in pure shock at how fast he transitioned from being able to kill them all in a second to such a caring teammate. You're welcome, Hinata-chan. I could never forgive myself if I let them continue what they intended to do. I could sense every ill thought they had directed towards you, and I could not just sit there and watch. I also want to thank you, Hinata-chan. What F for N, Naruto-kun. When she spoke, Naruto released the hug and looked at her, tears streaming down his face, smiling wider than he ever has. I want to thank you, Hinata-chan, for loving me for who I am. No, also I want to thank you for knowing the difference between a kunai and the scroll that holds it. Hinata was looking up at him, tears appearing in her own eyes as she embarrassed him again. Tenten cleared her throat, catching Team 7's attention. Naruto, Hinata and Sasuke, who watched this all go down fairly confused, turned to see Hinata's older cousin. His Byakugan blazes to life as Tenten and Lee try to hold him back. Neji ni san, please see, calm down, Hinata said, realizing her cousin heard what Naruto just said. Why is he not worthy of the Hyuga? He is just some orphan whose parents were. He didn't finish. Cuz Naruto was now leaking his ki again. He flashed in front of Neji just like he did with Heisho. His eyes turned from blue to purple, then finally to red as his pupil elongated vertically. His whisker marks darkened and deepened before them. It would be best for you to not speak down upon my parents, Naruto, Kurama spoke. Neji could only watch in horror. What are you? Your chakra just changed colors before my eyes, Neji commented. I am the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox. Naruto, Kurama yelled, making Team Guy take a few steps back. They proceeded to make a swift retreat away from Team 7 shortly after. Hinata scolded both Naruto and Neji, which came as a shock to the remaining members of both teams. Alright, we have both scrolls, let's ma ko, arwa. Naruto started, but was cut off by him slowly losing consciousness due to the amount of chakra he had used up. Sasuke would end up carrying him for the remainder of the way to the tower as they finished third behind Gaara's and Kabuto's teams. When they arrived, Naruto had woken up just as Hinata and Sasuke opened the scroll. What did I miss? Naruto said with a cheeky smile just as Iruka appeared. Naruto-kun, did you make your team do all the work? Iruka yelled with his signature big head jutsu, only for Hinata to speak up. Actually, he did most of the W work. He took out a team from a megacure by himself as well as Neji ni-san's team before they could even react. Hinata spoke with minimal stuttering. He almost reminds me of Yondaime-sama. Iruka thought with a smile before realizing something. Wait. Yellow hair just like Yondaime-sama, acts just like Lady Kushina, addicted to ramen like her too. If the report is correct, he helped take on Zabuza Momochi and brought him here to become a shinobi. After the war in Kirigakure calms down, could the Yondaime's son really not have died that night with his mother, and he rather was sealed into Naruto? He would have the chakra reserves as he would be part Uzumaki. Iruka was broken from his thoughts when Naruto bopped him on top of the head. Iruka-sensei, you there? Naruto asked. Naruto, do you know who your parents are? Iruka asked, before covering his mouth, realizing what he just said. Iruka-sensei, why would you ask that? Naruto countered. Well, you see, it's kinda Iruka tried to find a reason to get him out of this situation, but he couldn't. Anyway, I do know who they are, and you will find out like everyone else when I deem fit, Naruto said with a smile. They talked about what had happened in the forest with Iruka. Sasuke was smirking at his team's antics as they laughed with Iruka-sensei. What they all had not realized yet was the threat looming just around the corner. Chapter 14, Naruto's POV. It had been a couple of days since we had made our way to the tower. We were waiting in our team's room most of the time as teams slowly rolled into the tower with their scrolls. In a little bit we are all to report to the training grounds at the base of the tower for something, possibly the finals. Hey Teme, what do you think we will be doing down there? I ask as I get dressed in my mission clothes. Like I care. Dobi, just finish up already. We were supposed to meet with Hinata-san by now, Sasuke said, walking towards the doorway. Shit, you're right. Wait, where are my pants? Datbeo, I scream, only to hear Teme clear his throat to get my attention, then points to my pants that were right on the edge of my futon. I swiftly put my pants on as well as my kunai pouches, now finally ready to go. I See Sasuke Teme and Hinata-chan standing at the end of the hallway checking their equipment. Hey. Sorry I am a bit late. I guess Kakashi-sensei is rubbing off on me, I say, scratching the back of my head a bit. Poor wording, Sasuke Teme said before walking away. Hinata-chan turned bright red at the comment while I sat there confused for a minute. It takes a minute, but I realize what he meant by that. Hey, get back here and take that back, damn TEME. I shout, chasing after him as Hinata-chan follows. I chased him around for a little bit before it was time to report to the training grounds. We stood there for about 5 minutes before Gigi walked in with a handful of Anbu and Anko-san. Congratulations, you have all made it this far. However, Gigi said before he was cut off by a guy with sunken eyes, medium-length jet black hair, the normal Junin vest and a bandana-style Hayate. Hokage-sama, if I may, since I am the proctor of the third phase of the exam, the man says. All right. As you wish, Gigi said to the Junin in charge of this phase. Said Junin bows again before turning to the group of the remaining genin. All right, I am Hayate Gecko. I will be the proctor for the third phase of this exam. Again, congratulations on making it this far. However, there are too many of you to move straight into the third phase. We will need to hold preliminaries to slim these numbers down, he said with a blank expression on his face. You all may not know this, but these exams are a placeholder for war. They are meant to test the abilities of the elemental nations' might to help gauge the strength throughout the generations without resulting in war. It is also to show a balance of power between nations, as all village leaders present at the finals are eligible to vote for or against one's promotion. Lastly, there are people that will be there to assess where to send their missions to which village with the right skills they are looking for in mission-ready shinobi. Gigi interdicted, explaining the exams as a whole, further expanding our knowledge. Thank you, Hokage-sama. My words are absolute. If I say to stop, you will stop. Any and all attacks anyway. 2 random names will appear on the electronic board. Those 2 will face each other until one of 3 things happens. 1. Someone forfeits the match either verbally or 3 sudden taps on the closest surface. 2. 1 person is unable to finish the match via my standard or they are knocked out. 3. 1 opponent loses one's life. I started to get nervous as the possibility of death is more likely due to these being the strongest of these exams. I look around at the teams remaining and I see 3 from Suna. We ran into earlier. Team 8, the team from Otogakure, Team 10, Kuburo-san's team, and then Team Guy. The only people I would be worried about fighting would be Teme, that Gaara guy, the dude from Otto with the gauntlets. Neji Hyuga. Hell, even Rock Lee. If Kabuto's cards were even half right, he would still destroy me in taijutsu. My eyes fall upon Hinata-chan as I think about what happened in the forest. I feel the warmth of a blush rush to my face. I guess I never did realize how pretty she was until we were put on a team. I am drawn back to reality as I look around to see Teme, the kid from Kabuto's team, and Hayate-san staring at me. I look around, noticing no one else is down here. They are all up on one of the balconies above. Ah, sorry, got distracted, I yell as I run up the stairs towards Kakashi-sensei, who I just realized was here, and Hinata-chan. Way to go, dead last, Kiba-san said as I walked past. Pay attention to Naruto Baka. This is what a real shinobi looks like, Sakura-chan said as I make my way to the rest of my team. I kinda feel bad for Kakashi-senpai. He has to deal with such a poor student as Naruto-kun. I overhear Kurenai-sensei, Junin-sensei of Team 8 say to Asuma-sensei, Junin-sensei of Team 10, Huck Harama, none of them believe in me. What if not even my team believes in me and they think I am just one big joke? I ask my furry friend, hey, don't say stuff like that. Remember, you are Naruto Uzumaki and you will become Hokage. That is acknowledged by Everyone, Kurama yelled in the back of my mind. I discreetly wiped a tear that escaped from my eyes. As a small smile spread across my face. Thanks Kurama, you're my best friend and you always will be. I thought as I think of everything we have been through so far, only to realize that it is only uphill from here. There are no shortcuts to becoming Hokage, just like I told that little brat. Konohamaru, you're welcome Kit, and I think you changed what I think about humans nowadays. I am grateful to have met someone like you, Kurama said with a smile of his own fist out for a bump. Which I reciprocate. In Kurama's mind, he really is the #1 most unpredictable individual I have ever met, and I know you will do amazing things in the future. You remind me too much of the old man, not to Naruto Uzumaki, Kurama thought as he laid his head back down as Naruto went back to his team, Naruto's POV. I look up after my talk with Kurama to see Hinata-chan smiling at me with a slight blush on her face, and behind her I see Kakashi-sensei giving his iconic one-eyed smile. He has nice of you to join us, Naruto-kun, Kakashi said as I scratched my head in embarrassment. Well, sensei, I was just distracted, that's all. I say, slightly glancing at Hinata-chan when I said distracted on accident. Damn, knowing his taste in books, he is gonna think something perverted happened. A blush runs across my face as I start thinking of such instances on my own. I, however, am snapped out of my thoughts when Hayate-san starts the match between Sasuke Teme and a guy named Yoroi Akado. The match starts with Teme using his usual Kaiten Gokaku no Jutsu, but the weird thing is the other kid absorbed it. You have no chance to beat me, as my specialty is to absorb chakra from any attack thrown at me. The kid yells, well, that was dumb. Why yell out the extent of your abilities to your enemy? Wait, hey Teme, he's trying to confuse you. That's not all he can do. I yell out to my teammate. I only helped him cause I personally want to kick his ass myself. Whatever, Dobie. I already deduced that. He yelled back at me, I will fight this ungrateful piece of no. Remember, you're better. Yes, you're better, I thought while trying to calm my own nerves for the fight I will take part in. After a little bit of a staring contest, the Teme rushes the guy anyway. Even though that was probably a bad move, I was proven right when the guy pinned him to the ground before Sasuke Teme could even land a strike. It looked as if he was getting more tired just sitting there. Hey Hinata, can you check out what is going on here with your Byakugan? I ask my lovely teammate. Where did that come from? I thought, shrugging it off shortly after. Hi. It seems that Sasuke-san's chakra is being absorbed by the other guy, Hinata-chan explained. Just as I thought, I heard from over my shoulder from Kakashi-sensei. What, sensei? This ability allows the user to drain the chakra of their enemies. Subsequently, the user usually needs a medium such as a kunai to do so. This guy uses it just by making contact with a jutsu or a person. Kakashi explained the technique to use. Further, lucky for Sasuke Teme, Yoroi's hand slipped off his head. Sasuke Teme took advantage of this, proceeding to headbutt Yoroi off of him and swiftly knocked him unconscious with a strike to the back of the neck. Winner by knockout, Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate stated as Sasuke walked up to us and Yoroi was hauled to the infirmary by 2 medical nins. That was awesome, Sasuke-kun. Sakura-chana and Ino-san yelled simultaneously. Asuma-sensei and Kurenai-sensei had a hard time restraining their female students as they rushed the last loyal Uchiha. Teme was wide-eyed as they charged at him. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention once again, and he used a kawarimi on me, leaving me to take the brunt of the 2 females' force. I laid there for a second trying to catch my breath again as they went to tackle Sasuke Teme again, this time succeeding. Serves, cough you right, cough asshole. I mutter out as my lungs' functionality restarts, allowing me to finally somewhat breathe. I stand back up as things calm down and the fights go on. Shikamaru won his match but complained about how he had to fight a girl, saying how troublesome it was. Sakura and Ino tied in a fight, which was more like a declaration that they won't lose the winning to Mi's heart. Tenten Neji's teammate lost her match against the Suna sister Tamari. Shino won his match because his opponent underestimated the effectiveness of Shino's Kakaichu parasitic destruction insects. The last guy from Kabuto's team, after Kabuto himself quit earlier, lost to the older brother from Suna. Konkuro Choji lost to the guy with the gauntlets from Otto named Dosu when he misunderstood how sound waves work. Next up, Kiba Inuzuka vs Naruto Uzumaki. Hayate-san yelled, "Yosh, finally I get to show what I got," I screamed. Along with Kiba, we looked and glared at each other as we made our way down to the main combat area. You both remember the rules, I presume? We both nod as Hayate looks between the two of us for a moment. Hajime, Chapter 15. No one's pav. Naruto and Kiba stood still as the match started. The two were sizing each other up. Kiba was severely underestimating Naruto while Naruto was overestimating him, making sure Kiba didn't get the drop on him. "This'll be a piece of cake. I mean, he is the dead last loser of our class," Kiba yelled, getting stifled laughs from the twin banshee of Konoha, Ino and Sakura. "Oh Kiba-san, what is the one thing you should never do as a shinobi?" Naruto said in a disappointed tone. Kiba looked at him with a questioned look, wondering what the blonde was getting at. Suddenly Naruto disappeared from view in a plume of smoke. Kakashi watched his student with a smile hidden under his mask. Hinata had used her Byakugan to see where Naruto actually was, and as expected, he was on the ceiling above Kiba performing hand signs. When Naruto finished 5 Bunshin appeared by his side. Most of the people in the room above the rank genin were confused because he used so many hand signs just to make 5 clones. Everyone who was above a genin who saw Naruto was confused except for Kakashi Hatake, who was extremely confused. He had uncovered his left eye momentarily and used his Sharingan to analyze the jutsu Naruto had used, only to not recognize it at all. The jutsu Naruto has used as one of his own creations, allowing him to create a Bunshin made of each of the 5 nature transformations. This resulted in a Kaiten Bunshin, Suiten Bunshin, Doten Bunshin, Futon Bunshin and a Raiten Bunshin. "Where did you go, you coward? Come on and fight me like a man," Kiba screamed, but just as he was about to say something else, the 5 Bunshin dropped down, surrounding the boy. "You think you can win this with numbers alone? How pitiful," Kiba said with a smirk. Kiba went in for an uppercut to the Bunshin in front of him. He was too slow though, as the attack went just left of the dodging Naruto. Kiba-kun hasn't noticed yet, but he has already lost this fight, Kakashi said atop the balcony, getting pissed looks from Kurenai and Sakura. "What do you mean? Kiba is way stronger than Naruto, baka," Sakura screamed, showing her support for her teammate. "That is exactly why Kiba will lose. Naruto has been training non-stop for the past couple of months. And he is no longer that, and I quote, dead last loser. I would say he is almost as strong as Sasuke at the moment, if not just as strong," Kakashi said, glancing over to the rest of Team 8. "Kakashi-senpai, I don't know what you are getting at, but Kiba has also been training diligently these last few months as well. It would be wise to not underestimate my students," Kurenai said with a smirk. "Then why should all of your students underestimate mine?" Kakashi countered her previous statement, catching her hook, line and sinker into his trap. Well, that's not what I meant at all. What I was getting at," Kurenai said before getting interrupted by Kakashi again, "it doesn't matter what you were trying to say, Kurenai. You failed to train your students on one of the key things that could save their lives one day, and that is to never underestimate your opponent. It is always better to overestimate the enemy than to underestimate them, as this could lead to catastrophic failure. Team 8 pondered what Kakashi had said and taken that to heart as Kurenai was thinking of ways to better train her team. Is that all you got, Kiba? Naruto's Bunshin asked as he had still failed to land a hit on a Bunshin. Kiba had started to breathe heavily as Akamaru sat on Kiba's head waiting for his master to call upon him. All right, let us get serious, Kiba yelled, pulling 2 soldier pills out of his pouch, eating one and giving the other to Akamaru. Kiba finishing the hand signs for one of his clan's techniques. He yelled, Giju Ninpo Shikyaku no Jutsu, imitation beast ninja art 4 legs technique. Kiba raced forward with more speed than before and was able to land a devastating hit on the futon Bunshin. The Bunshin dispersed, sending a blast of wind slicing towards the culprit of the dissipation. During all of this, Akamaru had performed dynamic marking, catching 2 of the 4 remaining clones. The wind died down and Kiba had cuts all over the place, nothing too severe but enough to put one on their ass for a bit. He got up just as Akamaru returned to him, giving him a small nod and bark as if to say mission complete. Kiba was now smiling as he did the same thing as before, drawing 2 soldier pills from his pouch for him and Akamaru. Naruto has not gone on the offensive at all. He was just sizing the boy up with his clones as he sat on the ceiling at this time. Kiba was saying how his next technique will finish him off for sure. Akamaru turned into an exact copy of Kiba as the 2 proceeded with their jutsu, Gatsuga Fang. Passing Fang, Kiba yelled at him, and Akamaru started to spin at crazy speeds, flying at the 2 Bunshin that were marked. The duo missed on their first pass but landed a hit on the sweetened Bunshin, causing Akamaru and Kiba to be drenched in water. Most people were shocked by the presence of a sweetened Bunshin, as there is no water anywhere in the training grounds. This technique reminds me of Tobirama Sensei, the elderly Hokage thought as he witnessed the clone fall apart into a large amount of water. Impossible, Kakashi said quietly while his uncovered eye was as wide as humanly possible. What is Kakashi-sensei? Hinata asked as she turned to him. It's just that to perform a sweetened jutsu there has to be water around to use for it to work. What you just saw was Naruto had taken the water in the air around us and condensed it into enough water for his jutsu. The only other person that I know is able to do this is Tobirama Senju Naidame of Konoha. Kakashi finished as most people on the balcony were wondering how the dead last was able to do this, whereas Hinata was smiling proudly for her teammates' accomplishment. Sasuke, on the other hand, was getting more jealous by the second. How can this Dobi be so powerful? It doesn't make any sense. Just a few months ago I could squish him like a bug, but now Sensei is saying that he is almost as strong, if not as strong as me. Sasuke thought as he was brooding in his own corner up top, unbeknownst to anyone around. The Junin Sensei of the Otogakure Shinobi was eyeing Sasuke the whole time. There was a scream of pain coming from the arena as Kiba and Akamaru dropped to the ground as they had hit the second Bunshin. This Bunshin just so happened to be made of Raiden, causing the drenched Genin and Pup to get electrocuted to the brink of unconsciousness. Naruto, noticing his opponent was on the ground, jumped down from the roof as the Genin that had yet noticed him were surprised that the real Naruto was on the ceiling the entire time, drawing a kunai and dissipating his clones as one burst into flames and the other collapsed into a pile of rocks. Kiba Inuzuka is knocked out and unable to fight the winner as Naruto Uzumaki. Hayate yelled for everyone to hear, but no one was listening. 5 chakra natures, almost everyone but Team 7 thought as they turned to Kakashi. Kakashi-senpai, Asuma said as Kurenai continued. Why would you have him show that he has an affinity for all 5 chakra natures in just the preliminaries? Kakashi turned to them and smiled, only replying with, "You'll see in due time." As Naruto walked back up to the balcony, all eyes were on him. Everyone was silent as he walked past them. This time, that is, till he reached his team. "You did amazing, Naruto-kun," Hinata said while rushing him, giving him a breathtaking hug. Hinata. End bridge. He said as she yelped, releasing the hug, realizing what she was doing. Sorry, Naruto-kun, she whispered with a blush prominently plastered onto her face. "Hey, it is alright, Hinata, you were just excited, that's all," he said, scratching the back of his neck, a slight pink resting upon his face. Not 15 meters away you could hear a lazy Nara. "Troublesome," he said, only to receive a solid hit upside the head from Ino. "You lazy ass, why are you saying everything is troublesome all the time?" she yelled, getting a chuckle from Asuma in the process. "Alright, you two, they are about to announce the next match, let's see who it is," Asuma told his team. The entire room's gaze reached the board as 2 names popped up, revealing the next match. Hayate then spoke as there were a few audible gasps. "Will Hinata Hyuga and Neji Hyuga make their way to the training grounds for the next match?" Chapter 16 Naruto's POV. I watch as Hinata and Neji walk down towards the training grounds. Hinata seems to have been shaking ever since her name was called. What has she so scared of Neji for? They are cousins, for crying out loud. That is, until I overheard Neji and Hinata's conversation. Hinata-sama, you will always be an embarrassment to the Hyuga clan. You should quit now, as fate has ruled me the winner." Neji spoke in a tone full of venom. "Where the hell is all this hate coming from? They are related, for Kami's sake. I thought." Looking down at the two, I see, can't do that n Neji ni s-san, Hinata barely stuttered out. "What's going on here? Why is she so terrified of Neji? Did he hurt her or something?" I thought, as my happy mood started to change into that of caution. "How do you plan on beating me, when in all of our spars you never stood a chance?" Neji once again berated his cousin. "What is his deal? I swear if he tries anything out of line he will regret it," I yell in my mind as anger builds up within me. "Easy, Kit, I know you care a lot about her, but you need to calm down here or else you may get her and yourself disqualified," the giant fluffball said in my head. "Fine, but if he hurts Hinata-chan severely and I face him later on, I will break all of his bones," I yell in my mind, plotting to take this jackass down. What I hadn't noticed yet was my grip on the railing was so tight that I had bent the solid steel bar with my bare hands. I looked around, noticing everyone staring at me with puzzled looks. "Sorry, I was just thinking," I say, looking back down at Neji and Hinata more so, glaring daggers into Neji's back. "Anyway, as I was saying, you are nothing but a small rabbit in the forest, where I am a mighty fox." I sweat drop at that comment and lean over to Kakashi-sensei. "That's ironic, don't you think?" He chuckled at that a bit, but told me that I should be encouraging my teammate. Hi, I say as I realize I didn't even wish her luck on this match. "Hey Hinata-chan, I believe in you. Don't listen to this fox wannabe's ass," he calls a mouth. With that there were a few laughs coming from the foreign shinobi on the other balcony, as well as some of the genin and senseis on our side. "Anyway, fighters ready?" Hayate said, trying to get on with this. They both nod, slipping into their juken stance, preparing for the match to start. "Hajime," Hayate yells, igniting the flames of the battle between the two genin. The two Hyuga charge each other as they halt just a few steps away from each other as they throw punches and slaps at each other, pulsating chakra from their hands to disable each other's tenketsu points to block their chakra paths as the fight went on. It seemed to be fairly evenly matched until Hinata started to gain the advantage. Come on. Hinata-chan, you got this, I screamed in the hopes it'll motivate her enough to win as she was about to complete her final move. Her chakra did not emit from her palm, surprised as she looked down at her hand as Neji grabbed her wrist and pulled her sleeve up, revealing a bunch of red spots on her arm. I have blocked all your tenketsu in your arm. What are you going to do now, Hinata-sama? Neji said, giving a mischievous smile. This match is over. Neji self-proclaimed his victory. Hayate seemed to be debating calling the match as Hinata-chan hit Neji with her other arm, which was not as powerful as her right but still did a bit of damage to Neji. This pant match isn't pant over. I will pant, never give up for pant. That is my ninja way, she said. I looked at her as my eyes widened because that is my nindo before my brain could process it. Neji charged at Hinata-chan, hitting strike after strike on her. She laid on the ground as blood spewed from her mouth. Hinata slowly but surely started to get up once again. She looked at her cousin and smiled. From what I could see, it seemed as though Neji took it the wrong way because he started to channel large amounts of chakra into his palm as he went in for a fatal strike before the attack met its target. Every Konoha sensei as well as Hayate and I stopped Neji. That's enough, Neji, Guy said. As a matter of fact, this is the first time that I have seen Guy so serious. Oh, I see, the main branch gets favoritism once. Aga. I didn't let him finish as I pushed him across the jaw. I looked down at him as everyone stared down at me. I knew that I was leaking Kurama's chakra out at this time, but I didn't care. If you ever hurt your own family like this, I will show no mercy. Do you understand? I screamed as Kurama merged my voice with his. Before I knew it, I was on the ground, kunai to my throat as two Anbu agents held me down. Get off of me now. I will only say this once, I say as I dial Kurama's chakra back. The two Anbu look at Gigi as he nodded at them to get off. I stood back up and looked at some of Hinata-chan's blood on the ground and dipped my fingers in it. Mark my words, Neji Hyuga, as I swear if I face you in the finals, I channel Kurama's chakra just enough to change my eyes to blood red with black slits as well as project my voice. I will pulverize you. Quickly the two Anbu tried to tackle me again, but as I am a sensory nin, I dodged them fairly easily. I look over at Hinata-chan as she is being put onto a stretcher and I follow them, not wanting anything to happen to her. No one's paw. What the hell was that, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked as the four sensei returned to the balcony as Guy was reprimanding his students' actions. That, Sakura, is none of your business. What you all saw here today must not reach the general public, as there would be outrage calling for Naruto's head. Kakashi explained to the group of genin in the area on the other balcony. There were murmurs from all those who remained. And you tried to pick a fight with that guy of all people, Tamari said to her younger brother Kankuro. Well, it's not like I knew he was like that. How was I supposed to know? Kankuro countered. Baka, you're to never underestimate your opponent and never overestimate your own abilities like that fool from the Hyuga clan. The two did not notice their younger brother as he was shaking in his boots. Mother, I don't understand. I thought you wanted that boy's blood, Gaara said. What do you mean we can't beat him? Gaara shouted, causing people around to look at him. The other genin teams thought he was just crazy. However, Baki, Tamari and Kankuro were terrified. If Gaara was saying that he could not beat him, then they had no chance in this invasion. A few moments prior in Gaara's head, why does something feel so familiar in this wretched village? Just as Shukaku, the one-tailed raccoon dog, or Tanuki, thought this, he felt the presence of his elder brother and rival Kurama. Knowing how much stronger his brother is, terrified the one-tails as Naruto left the room. Gaara was pleased to see his prey was strong. Don't worry mother, you will have his blood soon, Gaara thought to Shukaku. No, I don't want his blood anymore. Why, you can just leave him be, Shukaku said. Thinking about the time Kurama turned him into glass, that was a bitch to recover for him. It took about 50 years to do so. Mother, I don't understand. I thought you wanted that boy's blood. No, I said I don't want it. We can't beat him. There is no point, Shukaku yelled inside Gaara's mindscape. What do you mean we can't beat him? Gaara shouted out loud. Like I said, we can't beat him. Drop it. I don't want to turn to glass again. The coward of a one-tail yelled out. Fine, I will kill him. Without you, Gaara said once again, scaring those around him. Naruto's pav. I sat in the waiting room in the hospital for a while as she had been brought into emergency surgery. I saw them bring Rock Lee as well as his arm and leg looked horrendous. I heard that I will be facing Neji in the first round and that if I want to face Sasuke Teme I need to make it to the finals with him. You'll be alright, Hinata-chan. I know you are strong enough to get through this, I thought while sitting in the waiting area down the hall. There was a sudden crash of a metallic tray and shouting, I don't care, I demand to see my daughter, is what I heard from a masculine voice that sounded awfully familiar. Hiyashi-sama, she is in the middle of surgery, you can't just barge in there, said a nurse on the other side of the waiting room door. Ah, I see, it is Hinata-chan's two-sama. I thought of who he was as it slowly dawned on me that I am about to meet Hinata-chan's father. Quickly I tried to make myself as presentable as possible. Just as I finished up, the doors crashed open, revealing a very pissed Hyuga and 3 buff male nurses trying to hold him back. Holy shit, I thought as Kurama was dying of laughter in my head. You, he said, looking and pointing at me. I just sat there and pointed at myself with a raised eyebrow. Did you do this to my daughter? He shouted, picking me up by the collar. To say I was beyond terrified was an understatement. No, Hiyashi S. Sama, I am Hinata-chan's teammate. I stammered out, receiving even more laughter from Kurama. Can you not? I yelled at the annoying furball. Who did this then? Hiyashi-sama screamed, still holding me in the air. Was N Neji-san H. Had Kurenai-sensei a Asuma-sensei Gai S. Sensei Ka Kashi-sensei Hayate S-san, and I did not step in. He could have. This is the first time I fully realized that she almost died in front of my very own eyes at the hand of her own cousin. She could have what? Child, he said in a low rage-filled voice. My entire body slumped as I was no longer trying to keep myself up. Killed her, Hiyashi-sama. I said. Sorrow was the only emotion I was feeling at the moment. As if I, along with Sensei, had been a second slower, she would be dead. How dare you? He said as he dropped me and activated his Byakugan. How dare you lie to me, child? I see her blood on your own hand. He screamed as he tried to land a few Juken strikes on me. However, I dodged most of them as Haku's speed is on par with Hiyashi-sama. I am not lying, Hiyashi-sama, I am telling the truth, I yelled, dodging a strike to the face. Liar. Just as he was about to land a massive hit to my abdomen, Gigi walked in. That is enough, Hiyashi-sama, Gigi said as the Hyuga stopped his attack just short of hitting me. What is the meaning of this, Hokage-sama? Hiyashi exclaimed, pissed as ever. What he told you is the truth. He did not fight Hinata in the exams your nephew did, causing all this damage. Hiyashi knew that at this point Neji would pay for attempting to end his daughter's life. Where is he? Hiyashi-sama yelled. That I do not know, and I think it is time you tell him what happened between his father and Kumo, Gigi said as I sat there confused. When I see him I am gonna. Hiyashi-sama started as I interrupted him. Excuse me, Hiyashi-sama. I say, bowing. May I be the one to punish Neji-san as we or fighting in the finals, and if I fail then you can punish me as much as you punish Neji-san. I say, still bowing. Fine, but if you fail you will be severely punished, Hiyashi-sama said, walking out. Leaving Gigi and me. Naruto-kun, are you sure about this? Hiyashi-sama can be as terrifying as Ibiki in the T&I department of the Anbu. Yes Gigi, I am ready for this. I will wipe the floor with that baka. Chapter 17 Naruto Pav. Also, before I take my leave, there is something you should know. Kakashi-kun will be assisting Sasuke for his month preparation period, so I have brought in someone to help you with your training. You will meet said person tomorrow. Meet at my office at 9 in the morning, Gigi said as he walked out. I was finally alone again in the now messy waiting room as Hiyashi-sama made quite a scene in here. I am just glad he didn't kill me. Yet I sat there for what felt like 7 hours. Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke came in for a minute and we talked mostly about how he was gonna train Sasuke Teme. As Gigi said, once they left, a nurse came out of the operation room and walked up to me. Hello, Hinata-sama has suffered a large amount of damage to her respiratory system which led to some internal bleeding. We did what we can, but she will need to rest for a long time. We think that she may still be here hospitalized until the day before the finals of the Chunin exams, the nurse said, and I could tell she was trying to be as nice as possible as she had the fakest smile I had ever seen sprawled out upon her face. Thank you. I will inform our sensei of the matter. Also, when will people be able to visit her, if at all? I ask, hoping to be able to see her now. You will have to wait a week for her wounds to heal enough to be all right in an open area with people. I hope you understand, the nurse said as I bowed and walked away. Time skip. I walked into Gigi's office to meet my new sensei for the month, only to find that perv who is helping Konohamaru out. Nope, I'll train myself, I say, turning to walk back out. Wait Naruto, would you give him a chance at least? Gigi said as I was about to make it all the way out. If he wants to be an ungrateful brat, then why should I train him? I am an elite Junin after all. Why should I be wasting my time on him? Ebisu said as I started to slowly back away again, trying to escape. Naruto, Ebisu-san here will train you for the next month, and that is final. Now you too may want to start as to not fall behind. Am I correct? Gigi said, slightly smiling at me. Damn it Gigi, why you gotta stick me with the perv? Yes Hokage-sama, Ebisu said while bowing. He then turned to me with a glare and we walked out. Small time skip. Ebisu-sensei, what are we doing at the hot springs? Are you trying to peep in the women's baths again? I say, knowing he has done this before. I do. And no. W. What you were talking about? He yelled, face red as ever, blood slightly dripping from his nose. Anyway, we are here to practice your chakra control, he said, where I just sighed in boredom. Why can't you teach me some cool jutsu or something? I asked, knowing he would bite, saying, oh, you want to learn jutsu? Well, you need the proper chakra control to do so. Now watch closely. Oh, you want to learn jutsu? Well, you need the proper chakra control to do so. Now watch closely, as he focused his chakra to his feet, then walked on the water. Firstly, I knew it. Secondly, is this guy serious? To be honest, Kit, this guy seems insane, Kurama said as I silently agreed before I could show him I could easily perform water walking. We heard slight giggling coming from around the side of the building. Damn perverts, I thought as Ebisu and myself made our way around the building. What we saw was an older man with long white hair. He had red lines that extended down his eyes to around his chin. He is wearing a green short shirt kimono with matching pants and handguards underneath that was mesh armor that covered a majority of the man. Lastly, he had a black belt around his waist, traditional wooden sandals, a red haori with one yellow circle on each side. Lastly, on his back was a large scroll in had a horned heitate with the kanji for oil on it. Excuse me, but I must ask you to move away from the hot springs before you will be forcefully removed from them, Ebisu said as I gave him a look. That said, who are you to talk? Yeah, get lost. I am performing valuable research and I would like to go uninterrupted, the man said as he turned to us. Then I must forcefully remove you from the hot springs and report you to the Hokage at once, Ebisu said as he went to punch the guy. Yup. He's insane, I thought to Kurama, who just grunted agreeing before Ebisu was able to strike the man. A large plume of smoke filled the area when it dispersed. The peeping Tom was now sitting on a toad as the strike was completely ineffective. Toad summons, only one person can do that to my knowledge. I think as I try to remember who could perform these summons, I must have been deep in thought before I knew it. Ebisu had a massive nosebleed with a perverted smile on his face. What's the big idea? You just knocked out my sensei for the upcoming training I need for the final part of the Chunin exams. I say maybe guilt trip him to train me instead. Hey, I'd rather have a strong perv train me than a perv that's useless. Get lost, kid, he'll wake up soon, he said, causing that idea to crash and burn as fast as it launched. Just who are you anyway? I asked because I was still drawing a blank as to who the guy was. I am glad you asked, kid, because you may know me as the Mountain Toad Spirit Sage, who acquires immortality, also commonly called the Toad Mountain Sage. Well, that answered nothing. I looked back down towards Ebisu, who was still knocked out, and muttered to myself, he is totally knocked out. Dude is very weak for sure. I look back up at the man whose toad summon dissipated. Hey, Ero Sennin, what are you gonna do about this? You knocked him out after all, I said, pissed cause I now have no one to train me now. What can I say? He interfered with my research, he responded. The audacity of this mother fu. No, it's not worth it, I thought as Kurama just laughed. What research? You're at a bathhouse. I yelled at him. I am researching for my novel, he said, pulling out the same book that Kakashi-sensei reads all the time. Oh, I see, so you didn't just ruin this next month of training, you've been the one ruining all my other training as my perverted sensei reads that smut all the damn time, you damn pervert. I yelled, pissed that this dude wrote the books that were part of the reason Kakashi-sensei was late all the time. Firstly, I am not a pervert, I get inspiration while peeking to write better novels, not smut novels, he yelled back as the girls in the bathhouse started to scream and I presume ran out. Whatever now, what are you gonna do about my training? Once again he ignored my bantering, trying to get him to train me. He managed to slip away from view where I proceeded to chase him around the village and pester him till he broke. I finally caught him again in a forest. When he was about to run, I made the decision to show him that jutsu. Fine, I'll see if you are a worthy student as you say based on this jutsu, so make it count, damn brat, he said as I stood there smirking as I performed the hand signs. Oiroke no jutsu, I yelled as I transformed into a stacked lady as he said earlier. He yelled as he flew back with a massive nosebleed. After a minute of taking notes, he agreed to be my teacher and finally he told me his name. So your name is Jiraiya. Wait, as in Jiraiya of the Sannin, as in you trained the Yondaime Jiraiya, I screamed, releasing this man trained to Chan. Yes indeed. Now what is your name? Brat, he asked as I never told him my name. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, but you may know me as the son of the Yondaime. At that, Jiraiya's eyes widened for a second before returning to normal. So you know about your parents then? Sorry to hear that. They were great shinobi and even better people, he said before realizing something. Wait, if you are the son of Minato, then that means that you could have unlocked his clan's Kekkei Genkai, right? He said as he looked at me. The only thing I did was look at him and activate my eyes to where he smiled at me. Do you have any idea what they do and if there are any drawbacks to it? He asked. Well, Kakashi-sensei, and I figured out that it allows me to gain an elemental affinity to any, and I mean any, nature transformation. I was able to gain an affinity to all 5 base nature transformations, and if you look closely, my right eye has a frosted gloss to it because I was able to copy Haku's Hayaten release of the Yuki clan from Kirigakure. Jiraiya, after hearing this, nearly collapsed because I had an affinity for all 5 nature transformations and Hayaten. Alright brat, you ready to get this started? He said after regaining his composure. Hi Ero Sennin. Stop calling me that. Chapter 18 Naruto's POV. Alright Ero Sennin. What are we doing today? I asked as I arrived at the same waterfall as yesterday. Well, that all depends. What all can those eyes of yours do anyway? The old sage asked. Well, from what Kakashi-sensei and I figured out when we went on the mission in Nami no Kuni was that I can copy nature transformations if I see it used with my eyes, I answered as Ero Sennin sat there in thought for a second. Well, what nature transformations can you do? He asked. I looked up at him and activated my Dojutsu. Well, each of the orbs represents each of the 5 main elements, whereas my right eye has an icy glaze to it which shows I am able to use Hayaten, I said as I watched Ero Sennin's face shift from wonder to amazement to complete and utter shock. How did you get Hayaten? I know that the Yuki clan of Kirigakure was wiped out during the purges, so surely it couldn't be from then. Before he could continue, I spoke up. Almost wiped out, I corrected. The last known member of the Yuki clan now resides here in Konoha. His name is Haku and he has been helping me with learning some neat jutsu. I say, turning a small part of the river to ice. Amazing, so you can copy Kekkei Genkai based nature transformations as well. Do you know if it can do anything else? Are you able to use the acquired nature transformations without activating your eyes? He was going to continue further, but I cut him off. Hold on, one at a time, Ero Sennin. Anyway, in order of what you asked, yes, I can copy nature transformations based on Kekkei Genkai. No, we do not know if it is able to do anything else as of right now, and I actually haven't tried the last one. It is a possibility, and that would be a huge advantage to keep them hidden. I say, answering some of his questions after a while of more back and forth answering and asking questions. We actually tried to see if I can use Hayaten Jutsu without activating my eyes. Hyoken no Jutsu ice sword technique, I yell as the water in the atmosphere forms into my hand, creating a sword of pure ice. Ha, it worked, I yelled as Ero Sennin just grinned. Stop, that is enough for today as it is getting a bit late. How about we go get something to eat? Maybe we could get some ramen, I yelled, interrupting the man as he just laughed. You know your mother liked ramen just as much as you when she was younger, he said as I looked up with stars in my eyes. Really, I had no idea. Maybe it's an Uzumaki thing. I trailed off as we walked away from the training ground to Ichiraku's timeskip. It had been about a week of Ero Sennin training me with my elemental jutsu, where he finally told me about the big scroll he would carry everywhere he went. All right, Naruto, I think you are ready for a part of your father's legacy, he said, looking at me as he grabbed the scroll off his back. Really, you think I am ready? What's with the scroll? At that comment he just laughed as he opened it up. This is the Toad summoning contract, and as you can see, your father was the last person to sign it, myself before him. Now I believe that you are to be the next to sign this contract, he said, turning the scroll, showing me a blank spot next to my father's Ero Sennin and 3 unreadable names before that. Hey, Ero Sennin, who are these 3 before you? And Tusan. I ask out of random curiosity. Well, it is very difficult to make out the writing, but this one, he said, pointing to the second name on the contract. This is believed to be Hagoromo Otsutsuki, or the Sage of Six Paths. As you can see, these characters are a tad more clear and somewhat decipherable, other than that Fukasaku and Gamamaru are holding their tongues, he said as I look at the name intently, seeing if I can read it to no avail. Now it looks like it is signed from a brown substance. Is that mud? I ask, causing the old sage to laugh again. No, it is signed in blood, as in order to perform the jutsu you need a little blood, so it is typical to bite your own thumb when using the jutsu in combat, or if you already have a wound. Using the blood from that, he explained, I brought my hand to my face and bit my own thumb to draw some blood and signed my name on the contract, as well as placing my fingerprints at the bottom of the page. Now that you have signed it, let's see you try it. The hand signs are boar, dog, bird, monkey, ram. I nodded and did the hand signs. Kuchiyose no jutsu. A plume of smoke filled the area and it quickly dispersed as fast as it came. All you could muster was a tadpole, Ero Sennin said with a face of sheer disappointment. Well, I don't have the greatest chakra control, as I have very large reserves. It is not like I can walk on extremely sharp objects that you aren't meant to walk on, I said, as Ero Sennin seemed to have an idea. You have a healing factor, right, kid? Yeah. Because of Kurama. Why do you ask? I say, as a confused look pops onto Jiraiya sensei's face. Oh. Kurama is the Kyuubi and he is my friend. That shocked Ero Sennin the most, as neither Kushina nor Mito Uzumaki was able to do such a thing. You befriended the Kyuubi? He asked, to which I just nodded. Incredible, he shouted, causing me to fall flat on my back. Damn it, Ero Sennin, why do you have to yell like that? I asked, pushing myself back up. Well, it's that no one has ever been able to completely befriend a Biju besides the famed Killer Bee of Kumogakure, adoptive brother of a, he said as I realized that I have never heard of a perfect Jinchuriki besides B ever minus the Sage of Six Paths that Kurama told me about a while ago. Sorry, we got sidetracked. Where were we again? Ero Sennin asked. Well, I knew you were old. I didn't think you were going senile though, I teased, causing him to fall flat on his face. Damn brat, I'm not that old. That caused me to laugh, as I knew he wasn't that old, but still it was fun to tease him. Anyway, I just got done summoning a tadpole. I whispered the last part out as Jiraiya sensei stood up, cupping his hand around his ear. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that for me? He said with a shit-eating grin plastered on his face. Wow, you are going deaf too, old man. Ero Sennin. This time, instead of falling, he started crying, much like Lee and his sensei did before the exam started. We talked about my poor chakra control, as well as me making the joke about not being able to walk on harp objects, which leads to you asking about. Yo, you weren't thinking what I think you were thinking, right? I ask as he smirks. Well, goodbye all, feeling in my feet as this is gonna hurt like hell, I think, as Ero Sennin pulls out about 20 kunai and places them firmly into the ground, blade pointing upward. Ah, what time is it? I am pretty sure that I have training with Haku today and I don't want to be late. See ya later, Ero Sen. Oh no, you don't. I talked to that Haku fellow already and he and I made a schedule that worked for both of us, he said, as he motioned for me to start the exercise. Kurama, are you ready to heal my feet, cause this is gonna suck a lot if you aren't, I think, to my furry friend. Oh yeah, I sure am. Wouldn't want you to get your whittle feet hurt now, would I? He said in a childlike manner. Please, I shouted, getting my point of not messing around out there. Naruto, the point of this exercise is to focus your chakra to a singular point into your foot rather than the entirety of it, he said while standing atop a Single kunai point. Hesitantly I lift my foot up above a kunai before channeling chakra to a single point in my foot. As I step down I feel myself balance on the sharp edge of the kunai for a solid second before it rips through the flesh in my foot. Ah damn it, I screamed as I dropped to the ground, ripping the weapon from my foot. Well, what did you expect, kid, to get it on your first try? "'Cause that would have been a miracle," Ero Sennin said mockingly as payback from me joking about his age. Well, I didn't expect my tenant to leave me hanging. I say, the pain still flowing throughout my foot and lower leg. Oh, I'm sorry, am I forgetting to do something? The backstabber of a friend, I have said in my mind. Ah, I see. If he won't cooperate, then I guess we will not be able to continue training for today, Jiraiya-sensei said as I quickly entered my mindscape to yell at the furball. Can you please help heal my foot, or are you just gonna sit there? I say, looking at the mountainous fox in front of me. I could, or you could just use my chakra to summon those dismal toads as they talk about prophecy this and prophecy that. Sure, they are true in a sense, but their predictions are always vague. I sat thinking about his words and decided that could work, leaving my mind as my foot slowly starts to heal with the help of Kurama. I bite my thumb to perform the summoning jutsu once again as Ero Sennin speaks up. What are you doing? Trying the exercise once and failing at that won't help you with the jutsu, he said as I went through the hand signs anyway. As I do this, red chakra starts flowing out of my body, completely engulfing me. Kuchiyose no jutsu. Just then an even larger plume of smoke surrounded the area as a massive toad with an equally massive Tonto strapped to his back. Jiraiya, why have you summoned me? I see no foe, the large toad said as he saw Jiraiya was nowhere in sight. As the coward ran in fear as he saw who I had summoned. Actually I summoned you, I say, pointing to myself atop the large toad. The toad looked up at me, and I am guessing since I am just 12 he thought I could never summon him as he started laughing. You summon me, Gamabunta, boss of the toad summons. Just who do you think you are, Pipsqueak? He asked as I was debating telling him it all. I remained silent for a second to thoroughly think it through till Kurama told me to just spit it out. Well, Gamabunta said with little patience left, I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, heir to both clans, holder of the Namikaze Kekkei Genkai, the Utsusugan, and the only person to have ever befriended the nine-tailed fox Kurama besides the Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the one who allegedly is the second holder of the toad summoning contract, I say, looking down at the toad, who looks up with a doubting me for every second that is till Jiraiya came back and explained, as well as me letting Kurama speak through me. Well, I still do not accept you as my summoner, Gamabunta said, crossing his arms and closing his eyes. Well, I guess that is your choice and I will respect it. However, I am on that contract and do plan to earn your respect as a summoner, I say as I hop off his head. Well then, why don't we try this if you can stay atop my head? For the rest of the day I will allow you to be my henchman of sorts, and maybe I'll fight for you. I looked back up at him with a look that says, you have to be kidding me, you could have said that before I jumped off, I say as I jump back on while he laughs at me. For the next 3 hours I stood atop his head fairly easily as I used my chakra to glue myself to his slimy surface that only left about 2.5 hours till sundown. I will only be able to hold on for about an hour or so more with chakra, as summoning Gamabunta and healing my foot took more out of me than I thought. Another hour passes and I now have to resort to clinging on with my hands as I am almost out of chakra. I see the sun close to the horizon, and once it drops below I will finally be able to go home as I am exhausted. How are you hanging in there, Brad? Are you feeling sick, or shall I move into the spin cycle phase? He said with a slight chuckle. The what? I mentally scream as I am not ready for this. Surely I will lose the challenge here. You know, Kit, I could lend you some of my chakra to complete this. However, I feel that I will enjoy this next part a bit. Kurama spoke in my head as I mentally curse myself with my terrible luck. Just then Gamabunta started jumping, adding flips into the mix. On top of the sporadic movements, another hour passes and I feel myself slipping. Shit, I say as I lose my grip on the toad. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, I yell with the remaining chakra I have as 20 clones puff into existence, grabbing me and throwing the real me back onto the large toad's head. Well, wasn't that a clever move? However, we aren't finished yet, boy, Gamabunta says, watching the events that transpired moments ago. That's right, Pant, we have Pant a lot of time. Pant left you. Old toad. Pant asterisk, I say, trying to catch my breath. The next thing I know, I started seeing black spots. Moments before everything fades to black. Time skip. I had passed out apparently, but Gamabunta agreed to me being his henchman. Whatever that means, at least it is progress in forming a friendly relationship. I have the rest of today off though, and tomorrow I have training with Haku. I wonder what he will be teaching me for the Chunin exams. Maybe he'll teach me that cool jutsu Makio Hyosho, demonic mirroring ice crystals. With the rest of my day, I decided I was gonna go visit Hinata. Even though she still hadn't woken up yet, it was still a thing I always try to do daily. I sat there, talked about my training and how it is going, especially the part about Gamabunta trying to throw me off his head. For around 6 hours I went and got some ramen from Ichiraku's before doing some minor training like cardio and some strength training. The next day came as swiftly as the previous one ended as I met Haku at training ground 7. Hey Haku-san, I am ready for today's training, so whatcha got planned for the day? I ask, thoroughly ready to get started with training. Well, today I am gonna teach you one of my favorite jutsu, he said, and mentally I was ecstatic because this could be Makio Hyosho. I will be teaching you Sensatsu Suisho, 1000 flying water needles of death. As you know, it is a hard jutsu to dodge if your foe is tied up or stuck in one place, Haku said as I mentally cried at the fact he wasn't learning Makio Hyosho. Now let's begin, shall we? Haku asked as I nodded as we moved towards the river that ran through the grounds. All right, this jutsu obviously requires water in order to make, but depending on your affinity towards water, you may be able to draw the water from nearby plants as well as from the atmosphere itself, Haku explains as he went through several hand signs, one showing me as I do the same, barely able to form one sharp needle, while the other splotches of water in the air look nothing like the senbon needles Haku's jutsu did on the bridge. Damn, this is harder than I thought. Haku laughed at that remark. Well, what did you expect? To get it on the first try? Yeah, I know, that is what Ero Sennin said about the Kachiyose no jutsu, I say as Haku shook his head in amusement. Well, I will be back as I need to finish grading papers at the academy, then I will be back to see how you are progressing, Haku said, smiling and waving as I do the same. Before continuing training for the next 4 hours, I practiced and practiced and practiced, making very little progress at all. Damn it, why is this so damn hard to do? I yelled. Just then Kurama came up with an idea. Why don't you picture the water as senbon instead of similar to senbon? You gotta stop overthinking everything, he said as I smacked myself repeatedly. Hey, how's it going? Haku said as he came back to the clearing. Oh, I am fine, getting nowhere but fine, I say as I do the hand signs again. Sensatsu Suisho, I yell as the water flies up, sharpening into the shape of 1000 senbon needles. Oh, I did it, Datbeo, I yelled, jumping for joy as the water crashed down. Well, looks like you're doing better than you thought. Well, keep practicing and you'll have it constantly in no time. Haku said, placing a hand on my shoulder. Timeskip, it has been a month since the preliminaries and is also the day of the finals. In that time I learned the Makio Hyosho and single-handed hand signs from Haku. I was also able to find out my Suiton affinity was strong enough to pull water from the atmosphere and plants. I also learned the Kuchiyose no Jutsu and Kunai walking with Arrow Senin. The Kuchiyose no Jutsu wasn't that hard, but the Kunai walking, well, let's just say that it was a pain in my boot. Sorry, not sorry. I was making my way to the arena when I spotted my teammate doing some extra training before she went to watch said finals. Hey Hinata-chan. How are you doing today? I ask as I am worried about her health. I am alright, just a little tired. That is all. I just finished training and I am about to head home to get cleaned up before I go to the arena, she said with a small blush and smile. I had noticed since the Forest of Death and the preliminaries that she hadn't stuttered as much as she used to, which made me happy. Small flashback. If only this was our real, so I can tell you how much I love you and Naruto-kun. Present. Ah, that's right, that happened. I thought as my face flushed bright red. Well, Hinata-chan, I got go d don't wanna be late, I said, running towards the arena as fast as I could. Damn. Why did I do that? I thought, thinking how lame she thought I was. Hinata's pav. I wonder why he ran off so suddenly and why did he blush and stutter so much, I thought as I recalled what may set him off to react like that. I was walking back towards the clan compound as I passed people saying hello. I was thinking still, what could set him off like that? She thought again, getting stumped on every outcome before remembering something that happened in the Forest of Death. Similar small flashback. If only this was our real, so I can tell you how much I love you and Naruto-kun. Hinata's pav. As this memory resurfaced, my face became more crimson than crimson itself. I booked it back home before reaching my room and slamming the door behind me. I sat there on my bed completely embarrassed with myself. Naruto's pav. I finally got the thoughts of Hinata out of my head as I arrived at the arena. It was a very large structure with external bleachers standing high above the walls. How the hell have I never seen this before? I ask myself. I have been here since Hashirama Senju captured me and I have never seen this ever, Kurama said, just as shocked as me if not more. Well, we better get in there and show that Teme of a cousin Hinata-chan has that his fate BS will get him nowhere. I mentally shout, getting a grunt of approval from Kurama as I entered the arena. I noticed everyone was already there except Sasuke, Teme and that Dosu guy from Auto, also the proctor for the exam is different from that Hayate guy from before. Alright, we will now begin the final stage of the Chunin exams, the new proctor yelled after waiting for 10 minutes. My name is Genma Shiranui. I will be replacing Hayate Gecko for reasons that are to not be discussed. Will the present contestants please walk forward as there has been a change in the bracket for the finals? He said. I swear if I am not facing that son of a bi. Easy, you are still facing him. That Auto kid is not going to be here. Kurama explained how he felt Shukaku's bloodlust last night vanish for a second, and that only happens when he kills. I look up and see my half of the bracket is the same in. See that Shikamaru now moved up and has to face that Tamari girl instead. Now will everyone besides Naruto Uzumaki and Neji Hyuga make your way to the finalist viewing booth so we can get started? Genma said as the rest of the participants made their way to the booth. Genma explained the rules to the arena as well as giving us a refresher. I believe it would be best to forfeit this match as fate has declared me the winner, Neji said with a smirk. Well, tell this fate fella you've been with to stop knocking your brain around so much cause you seem to be a little crazy, I say as I somehow Hear a few laughs from the bleachers. So be it, I will not lose this match to a commoner, Neji said. To which I just smirked. Why are you smiling? He said as he activated his Byakugan, slipping into his Juken stance. Oh, nothing, you will all learn in due time, I say as I stand there with one hand in my pocket. Genma's pav. Well, this is a no-brainer that the Hyuga will demolish this kid. Look how cocky he looks. He isn't even taking a fighting stance, he just has his hand in his pocket. I thought, but I wouldn't put money on these fights as there is no true distinct prodigy of the generation yet. Well, we aren't getting any older. Fighters ready, I say, raising my right arm. Looking between the two once again, seeing the Uzumaki nod as the Hyuga gave verbal affirmation, I now declare that the first phase of the Chunin exams has begun. Hajime, Chapter 19, Naruto's paw. When Genma started the match, I instantly created a crossing ram seal, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, I yelled as about 100 Bunshin popped into existence. That won't do anything, my Byakugan will. Tell me just which one you really are, Naji said, smirking as well as activating his Dojutsu. I watched on as his face shifted from a cocky smirk to an instance of shock before holding a determined demeanor. Well, it looks like you have more talent than some people, you evenly distributed your chakra throughout your Bunshin. No matter the amount of Bunshin you send at me is irrelevant as my eyes see everything, Neji said as my Bunshin made their first assault. My Bunshin were holding back all jutsu and focusing on taijutsu to figure out Neji's style of Juken. They are losing terribly, forcing me to make more Bunshin. I know Neji is trying hard to find the real me and may think that I am sending all my Bunshin in while I hang back. I make a charge of my own as Neji blasts another few Bunshin away, dispersing them. I have to say it is remarkable you can make so many solid Bunshin and not even have a drop of sweat anywhere. However, it is clear which is the real you, Neji said, rushing right past me. I internally smirked watching him attack a Bunshin I specifically held back to lure him into a trap. I found you, Neji said, striking the Bunshin in his central tenketsu. The Bunshin flew back and landed on the ground holding his stomach in pain, successfully luring Neji away from the group of Bunshin. In order to make this look real, I started to dissipate a majority of my Bunshins slowly. This caused Neji to let his guard down, deactivating his Byakugan. As I said this match was over before it started. Fate declares me the winner. Proctor, he will be unable to move for a while. It would be best to call the match now, Neji said, turning to Genma. Before the Proctor spoke, the distinct sound of a Bunshin dispersing ruptured from my Bunshin that took the hit. At the same time, I prepared two separate jutsu that will nearly guarantee my victory. Doten Yomi Numa Earth Release Swamp of the Underworld. One of my Bunshin yelled, Kirigakure no Jutsu. I will have to thank Zabuza-san for teaching me this before he was put under house arrest for a little while he laid low. No one's pav. Onlookers watched the battle, amazed how Naruto knew such a high-level jutsu such as the Kage Bunshin, but also the Yomi Numa and Kirigakure no Jutsu. On top of that, he drew the water directly from thin air. Wow, I may actually lose money on this one, Kotetsu said while moping a little that this will be closer than he imagined. Hey, it's alright, it's not like that guaranteed the brat would win, it just makes things interesting, Azumo said, trying to cheer his fellow gate guard. He was just happy to be there as they are known as the eternal gate guards of Konoha. To their left sat one Hinata Hyuga as she watched on, worried about her teammate as well as her cousin. Even though he is stuck up, he is still family to her. En Naruto-kun, she whispered to herself, hoping for a victory in favor of her teammate. Up in the cage booth sat two of the most influential people in the world, Hiruzen Sarutobi and Rasa, also known as the Sandaime Hokage and Yondaime Kekkei, well it seems as though that blonde boy has quite the arsenal if this is his strategy for the first round, Rasa said to Hiruzen. Indeed he does. He has amassed unimaginable potential that will only grow as he age. Our rookie class this year has some of the largest potentials I have seen in a long time, Hiruzen said, turning to his fellow Kage. Ah, I see, Rasa said, turning back to the fight mentally, though he was getting angered. Damn it, Sarutobi-sensei, how naive do you think the Kekkei is? No matter, my plan to destroy this wretched village is foolproof. I will succeed with the ace up my sleeve. The only problem is my prized vessel to have yet to arrive. Rasa, I mean Orochimaru, thought as he watched on. Naruto's pav, well it looks like your eyes can't see everything as I have. You trapped in my swamp as well as in my mist. Your Byakugan is ineffective, as I have laced the mist with my chakra, making my presence undetectable unless you are a sensory type, I said as killer intent started to ooze from my pores. No, I will not lose this battle. Fate has declared me, Neji yelled out before receiving a punch to the gut. Neji doubled over in pain but managed to grab my arm, trying to prevent him from doing any jutsu. The mist dissipated as I wanted everyone to see the demise of the great Neji Hyuga. Well, Neji, looks like this is the end for you. I have won, I said, smiling, watching the Hyuga gain a confused look. I know that you will be able to strike me within this range, but let's have a little chat first. How does that sound? I say, I have nothing to say to a commoner like you, Neji said, which was starting to piss me off. All this fate and commoner bull, enough, I yelled, looking at him. I guess he didn't expect me to yell at him like that. What happened to you that made you so damn stuck up? I asked as his face contorted into a face of pain and suffering. You wouldn't understand, he said in a hushed voice. Try me, I say with a stern expression. When I was around 4, Lady Hinata was kidnapped by a Kumo shinobi here on a diplomatic mission for peace. Hiyashi-sama was able to take care of the threat, but Kumo wanted his head for compensation. If that did not happen, Kumo and Konoha would have most definitely gone to war. My father was the younger twin brother to Hiyashi-sama, and they sent my father as a replacement for Hiyashi-sama so they would not unlock the secrets of the Byakugan, Neji said before untying his hesitate, revealing a seal of some kind. And what is that? I say, looking at the teal seal script on his forehead. This is the seal that holds the secrets of the Byakugan from falling into the hands of our enemies. Every branch member has one of these seals. If we were to step out of line, the main branch can activate the seal, causing excruciating pain to us. You have no idea what it is like to have a seal on you that controls your life, Neji said, stuffing his hitate in his pouch as he can't re-tie it right now. I just stared at him for a second before a light chuckle escaped from my mouth. Then it grew into a genuine laugh. Why are you laughing? Are you mocking the status of the branch family as slaves to their own house? Neji half yelled, holding onto my arm even tighter. Wow, I'm sorry, I forgot. You don't even know who I really am, I say as their laughter dies down. What the hell does that mean? Neji said, extremely confused. I just smiled at him with my eyes closed. Kurama. Do it, I thought. Whatever you say, Kit, Kurama said as a little of his chakra filled my system. I knew that when this happens, my whiskers deepen, my eyes turn blood red with black slits in them, and my canines sharpen. I could feel Neji start to tremble. I am guessing he activated his Byakugan as my slight transformation started. I opened my eyes to see the terrified face of the Hyuga prodigy trembling in front of me. What's the matter, Fox? Got your tongue? I say while Kurama projects his voice. At that, the crowd started going insane. Kill him before he turns. We can't let him in danger. Us all, the fox is breaking free, were the shouts of those in the crowd as Kurama stopped pumping his chakra through me. As you can see, things aren't as bad as they seem for you now, are they? I say. As Neji looked at me with an understanding look. Now let's continue, shall we? I say, going through single-handed signs that stunned literally everyone in the stadium minus Team 7 and Haku. Sensatsu Suisho. I shouted as 1,000 water needles in the shape of Senbon surrounded us. What? One-handed signs, Neji yelled in surprise as the water needles shot towards Neji, hitting him in multiple spots that would hurt him but not kill him. The jutsu ended and Neji stood there for a second silently before collapsing. I sat there waiting for Genma to call the match when I realized he was just staring at me silently. Is there something on my face? Everyone nearly fell out of their seats with that comment. Genma also decided to snap out of his stupor and finally called the match, checking Neji's pulse, making sure he was indeed alive. Neji Hyuga has been knocked out and is unable to continue. Naruto Uzumaki wins Chapter 20. No one's pav. Well, I can't say I expected that, Azumo said to a sulking Kotetsu. Hey, what's up with you? Azumo said, looking at his friend. I just lost 20,000 ryo, that's what. Kotetsu said, pouting as Azumo started laughing. I knew you could do it, Naruto-kun. Hinata said, just to the left of the two Chunin. This caused them to look at her in shock. I didn't think that the heir to the Hyuga clan would be rooting for someone outside the clan. Who is he to you? Azumo said as a blush rushed quickly to her face. I'm not sure. Hinata said, turning back to the field. Oh, I think I understand, Azumo said with a small smile as he turned back to the arena. In the cage booth sat one Hiruzen Sarutobi and Rasa the Yondaime. Kei's cage. Well, that was indeed an interesting match. I could have sworn that he was the prodigy of the Hyuga clan and this boy came from nowhere and defeated him with some ease, Rasa said, turning to Hiruzen. Indeed, however, the young Hyuga still has much to learn when it comes to one's ego, he said. Back to the Kei's cage. I see, but how would you rank their worthiness of being promoted? Kei's cage dono. Hiruzen asked his fellow cage. I would say they both have the skills. The blonde boy has the wits and improvisational skills of a Chunin. However, I think I will need to see more than Kage Bunshin in a couple of jutsu in order to promote him. As for the Hyuga, I do not recommend a promotion. He needs to keep his emotions in check, as it is important to keep a level head on more difficult missions. Rasa said, looking towards Hiruzen. What do you think about the two as they are your shinobi? Rasa asked. Well, I would say they both fought admirably. However, I do agree that neither showed enough to be promoted just yet, Hiruzen said just as the next two fighters are called down. I see, it is now your daughter's time to take the spotlight. She is facing off against Shikamaru Nara. I believe he will be a tough foe for her. I hope you are prepared. She will be fine. That is if she doesn't let her guard down when she thinks she figured him out, Rasa said as something or someone rather fell down from the finalist booth to the arena and just laid there. Oh my, he is quite the lazy one, Rasa said, looking at Hiruzen, who gave a half smile while rubbing the back of his head in the arena. Genma watched as Shikamaru reluctantly stood up and looked at Tamari. Great, another girl, how troublesome. A yawning Shikamaru said. What did you say to me? Tamari said, a little upset. Troublesome? All right, fighters ready, Genma said, looking between the competitors. Hell yeah, I am, Tamari said, drawing her fan out. I guess, Shikamaru said, looking up at the clouds. Hajime, Genma said, jumping back as Tamari lunged forward, stabbing her fan into the wall just where Shikamaru's throat would have been. However, said Nara was standing on top of her fan as if nothing happened. Alright, let's get this over with, Shikamaru said, jumping back, going through multiple hand signs as a shadow stretched out, trying to trap Tamari. The game of cat and mouse went on for about 20 minutes back and forth before Shikamaru finally caught her and did the unthinkable. Proctor, I forfeit the match to Tamari, he said as he had his arm raised. What? Tamari said confused. Why would you just give up like that? She said, demanding an answer. Well, that is simple. I have about 8 seconds of chakra left and I would eventually lose if this was dragged out any farther, Shikamaru said as his jutsu dispelled and he turned back, returning to the finalist booth, getting booed the entire way. The next match was supposed to be Shino and Konkuro, but Konkuro forfeits before it even started. The last match, however, was delayed because Sasuke and Kakashi both haven't shown up yet. Just as Genma was about to call the match, they both arrived in a plume of smoke with not a single second to spare. Well, sorry, we are late. We had forgotten that the finals were today as we were busy training. We aren't too late, are we? Kakashi said with a knowing smile. Actually, your student was about to be disqualified, but since he is here the match can commence, Genma said as Kakashi left and Gaara made his way down in a sand shunshin. The two got into their fighting stances. As Genma started the match, Sasuke started with regular taijutsu probes to try to either weaken or break Gaara's defense. At first this seemed useless, however, as the match prolonged and Sasuke's speed rose. Gaara was starting to have trouble. Sasuke finally broke Gaara's guard when he launched him in the air, much as Lee had done in his fight against Dosu. Instead of using the primary lotus, Sasuke landed an axe kick to Gaara, sending him crashing to the ground. Once Gaara hit the ground, he surrounded himself in a dome of sand with a floating eyeball on the outside in order for him to see outside. Sasuke saw this and ran up the walls of the arena and did a few hand signs before the chirping of 1,000 birds filled the arena and lightning emitted from the young Uchiha's hand. Using the force of gravity as a booster, Sasuke sprinted towards Gaara again as the jutsu sliced through the sand, piercing Gaara's shoulder. Ah! Gaara yelled as he felt the warm liquid of his own blood escape the large opening in his shoulder. This blood is mine, it is mine, Gaara yelled hysterically as Sasuke quickly dislodged himself as Gaara started to lose control. Damn it, he is changing too soon, Tamari said to Konkuro in the finalist booth watching down below. What do you mean too soon? Naruto said as he overheard them. Shit, it's nothing, Tamari said, trying to avoid the question. What do you mean? Naruto said more seriously this time. Screw you, what does it matter to you? Konkuro said before a blade was pointed at his throat. Not just any blade, a blade with wind chakra flowing through it. Flying swallow, Tamari said, looking at the blade. Indeed, now what do you mean? He said, drawing a second blade, this time imbuing it with lightning chakra. What the hell, I thought his affinities were Doton and Suiten, Konkuro said as he saw the blades. Hey, he's right, you have 4 affinities, Tamari said, surprised. Who cares what is happening to your brother? I think I know the answer, but if you do not tell me now, I will have no choice but to strike you two down for possibly conspiring against Konoha, Naruto said, looking at the two of them sternly. Do you even know who we are? Dumbass, our dad is the Yondaime Kekkei, so you better drop your weapons before we are to use force, Konkuro said with a smug look on his face. Naruto looked at them before laughing at them. What the hell is your problem? I don't care who your dad is. If he threatens the leaf, I will kill him, Naruto said as he dropped his weapons to his waist. Now I have to go seal a damn unstable Jinchuriki, so if you'll excuse me, Naruto said and jumped out the window before anyone could say anything else. Hey Kurama, can we possibly do that thing we were gonna try? Naruto said in his mind. I think we can. You will only have 10 minutes before you will start to lose control, so make this count, Kurama said to the boy. Naruto, what are you doing? You are not allowed to interfere. With the match at the risk of yours and the competitor's disqualifications, Genma said as he shunshined to Naruto. Move it unless you want an unstable Jinchuriki running around Konoha, he said. Looking at the proctor whose eyes grew twice their normal size, Genma nodded and turned to the crowd. This match is over as Gaara is losing all cognitive functions. I ask of you all to evacuate the premises in a calm fashion as we clear up the situation, Genma said as he did hand signals. Informing Hiruzen's guards what is going on, Naruto had secretly bit his thumb and summoned Gamakichi. Hey Naruto, whatcha need? The small toad said. Get Pervy Sage, we need his help to seal this guy. Before it is too late, Naruto said with urgency. The toad quickly ran to find Jiraiya with a fairly good idea of where he was. Naruto turned back to Gaara as Genma approached him again. You must leave. It is not safe for you here, he said as Sasuke was being dragged away by Kakashi. I am the only one who can hold him till Jiraiya-sensei gets here. I need to stay and do that. Naruto turned back to Gaara as white feathers floated down from the sky as Genma spoke again. Genjutsu, he said. Dispelling the jutsu to see most of the civilians out cold as the place flooded with sound and sand. Shinobi. Lastly, an explosion went off in the cage box as well as a large purple barrier shot up from nothing. It's an invasion force, Genma yelled, turning to Naruto. Damn it, hold that guy off as long as you can, Genma cursed, blocking a kunai. Naruto turned just in time to see Temari and Kankuro jump off with Gaara. Damn it, Naruto thought as he chased him to the woods. In the area that once was the cage booth stood two figures, Hiruzen and his former student Orochimaru. It's been a long time, sensei. And cut next part in 1 to 3 days. BYEE.